Good evening and welcome to Plonk of the Week. I'm in the wrong place again, aren't I? Should I move over a bit?
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah. Just lean.
I'll just lean. I'll be leaning a bit later anyway. Plonk of the Week, of course, the one place where you can learn a bit about wine, we can drink it and tell you what it's like. And hopefully some of you will have already bought the wines that we're about to taste so that you can come along with us and taste them in time, real time, with myself, with Chris Walkie, who is, of course, Mr. Fizz, who's here. Chris, very good evening to you.
Good evening.
I should say. And for the first time on Plonk of the Week, Intel Lady is here, otherwise known as AKA Jen, and a woman of many faces, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but she can literally do any voice that you want to hear. And we may even ask you to do a bit of that. Have you never done them drunk?
I've never done them drunk.
I find that very hard to believe.
That's absolutely true.
But that's amazing. Well, I wonder a drunk Bridget Phillipson would be very good. Or a drunk Angela Rayner, surely. Would be
well, good. I play her drunk sometimes, so that might be fair.
Yes, absolutely right. Well, listen, what have we got this week? Because Chris normally brings a little theme.
Yep.
Last week we had rosés.
We did have lovely rosés,
which were very
week.
nice.
Yeah,
and in fact, I took a couple of them home and only just finished them this week, actually.
Wow.
The fizzy ones.
Wow.
And I had another one of those explosive moments. I forgot to tell you, Pooch. Yeah.
Go on.
I think it was Tuesday, because I put one of them in the fridge and we put corks back in the fizzy ones, you know. And I put something in the microwave. And suddenly I went into the other room and heard this explosion. And I thought, Christ, because I'd blown up microwaves before and I thought I'd blown up the microwave again. But it was just the cork that had come out because I'd moved it and it just went and came crashing out.
Seems to happen a lot, doesn't it? Well, unfortunately, I bring all this mayhem with me, so I do apologise for that. But today we're going to do white. I've called it all white on the night.
All right.
And so some
White
countries...
supremacy Plonk of the Week.
We could do that, couldn't we? But we might get into trouble. But anyway, there's some countries we've not tasted before.
Okay.
So we're going to try some new places. But first of all, we're going to do the under £10 one, which is a Black Tower. I've chosen, again, something people recognise.
German.
This bottle. German indeed, sir. 9% alcohol. And it is...
9%? That's quite low, isn't it?
It is 9%. So it's a touch lower. It's the most successful wine brand globally in Germany is Black Tower. Yeah.
Okay.
White grape blend, so there's probably an almighty a load of different white grapes in there.
There we are.
£5.25. If you look for it
That's
in
good,
Lidl,
isn't it?
sometimes you get the end of the...
Run your face, Mike.
You get it at the end of the aisle, you get like the bargain bucket, so if you get it there.
It used to be, what happened to the black bottle?
Well, maybe they've just got different, I think they've got different labels,
Yeah.
so maybe this is, I think, what's this one called? It's the
This is
fruity
called
wine.
Fruity Wine.
Fruity wine. Well, cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Welcome to the show, Intel Lady.
Thank you.
It's not a wine I drink very often, I have to say, Black Tower.
I've never tasted it before. And it's quite sweet, isn't it? Quite sweet, quite plain, but
It's quite sweet.
you know.
It's all right, though. It's not bad.
okay, yeah.
Funnily enough, when we were filming yesterday and we had some pictures taken and I fancied a glass of wine. And the only one we had open was that Liebfraumilch from a few weeks ago, which is really horrible. Which was good, really, because I only had one glass and that was enough. But this is actually nicer, I would say.
Yeah, it couldn't be worse.
Yeah.
It is,
And also, for £5 something, it's pretty good.
well, it is £5.25 and it is a known brand, so it gives some consumers confidence. It's at Lidl. Everybody likes to shop at Lidl, get something a bit cheaper there, don't we? So that's the start.
I actually don't like shopping at Lidl.
No,
I can't stand it. No, I don't. There's something about it. I don't know what. It's nothing to do with the pricing. It's nothing to do with the fact that it's cheap. I don't like the way that they sort of. When you check out, you have to go really, really quick.
They fling it at you.
They sort of fling it at you.
Yeah.
And you need about 3 children with you to help you.
Yeah.
To wrap it all up and put it all in. Otherwise, people scowling at you because you haven't moved on or they're already moving their stuff in,
Yeah.
And
Do they have headsets on at Lidl or is that just Aldi?
I don't know.
Because
I'm not
Aldi,
sure.
they have
I think
headsets on and they talk to each other.
They do,
they?
and they're talking about other things, not business.
And I've made the mistake so many times where they've been talking and I've gone, oh yeah, I've no idea what they're on about. It didn't make any sense to me. And I'd be like, yeah, I know. And they'd look at me crazy and I'd realise they're not talking to me.
They're not talking to me.
They're talking to each other. And I'm like, okay, just carry it.
Do you get that? I get that quite a lot generally, where people are walking, say, down a tube station platform and they're talking, and I assume they're talking to me, and it turns out they're talking to someone with the headphones on.
Well, you had it on the train earlier, a lady saying, I'm sitting down, there's nobody sat next to me, and I've got the headphones on, working on the laptop, and she's tapping. I had to take the effort. What? Is anybody sitting there? Well, no, obviously. No. Welcome to sit down, of course you can.
Right. Right.
But I know what you mean by,
we were on the train yesterday. Pooch and I did a kind of
weird journey.
Very weird journey, because I pride myself on being a real expert on the underground, because I grew up in London. I did my school project when I was 11 on the underground. I went to every single part of it, and so I could tell you exactly in my head.
So you know where to be on the train.
Yeah, if you
exit.
said how do I get from Thaden Boys to Wimbledon, I'd be able to tell you where to change and all of that. Anyway, so was my boast until yesterday when he and I had to get from Shepherd's Bush to Victoria.
Right.
And I said, I know how we're going to do it. And this is going to really annoy people who hate this kind of thing. I had an American friend who said, "You British, all you talk about is how you get somewhere." And I'm like, well, because, that's all we've got to talk about. And it was Notting Hill Gate, change from the Central Line onto the Circle Line, no problem at all. And we got to Notting Hill Gate, got on a train, but it wasn't the Circle Line. Turns out it was a District Line.
Oh, right, yeah.
But we didn't notice we'd gone through Earl's Court until we were at Parsons Green, by which time we got too far. So we had to, and then we were at Fulham Broadway, so I had to get off, go back the other way to Earl's Court, and then get on another train towards Edgware Road, which we then thought was wrong. And anyway, messed about. But there was a guy on the phone. He wasn't without headphones. He was just on the phone, talking really loudly.
Oh, so annoying.
That annoys me. Or on the camera.
And Pooch was saying it used to drive him mad, but he's going through a period of reflection, so he didn't take him by the throat and throw him off the train, luckily. But it is really annoying.
Well, everybody should join in the conversation and say, hello, what are you doing? Can I ask you about your mother? How's she getting
So
on?
tempting.
And they'll think you're being patronising. No, because we don't want to hear your bloody conversation.
No, just don't. If you're on a public transport scenario, don't talk to people.
Or just talk quietly
Well,
on the
no,
phone.
just don't. Just don't bloody talk to people.
Don't talk to people,
Wait till you get off. If somebody rings me and I'm on the bus, I'm on the bus.
Yeah.
And to which they always go, "Oh, you hate the bus, do you?" And I'm like, "Of course I take the bloody bus. I'm in London."
human. Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, well,
So
that was the Black Tower fruity wine from Germany, and as a £5.25. So
Very nice. Now, in case you go down the route of Marilyn Hawes, who was here and got very, very drunk. Very, very
I'm going to
drunk.
try and keep her pace.
Please, please,
This
please.
is for bits you don't have to drink
You don't
everything.
have to drink
You
it.
can if you want. But she got completely
But I'm going to
pie-eyed.
make sure I'm going to put the bottles here.
Yes.
Because Marilyn had them here, bless her, and she was grabbing them.
I had a full English before
That's good.
I came here
Yes, very
to do
good.
Plonk, because we've just done Plonk. That's why I'm wearing the exact same outfit.
You've given
So-
away the magic, and you've made it into the studio for this, which you obviously
Yeah,
didn't
magic
do.
myself in.
Which you didn't do for Plank of the Week.
Definitely didn't
two
do that.
separate studios.
Yeah.
For that.
Exactly.
But I made sure I had a full English before I came
That's very
in,
good. I think
so-
Marilyn had a croissant, and that was the downfall.
The day before.
Yeah.
The day before, yes, indeed. The day before.
Well, it's the only time, right, that when we finished, almost all the bottles were empty.
Yeah, I know.
Because normally we would
Well, it's normally
take them
something
home.
well, not
Yeah,
when you
well,
finished,
normally-
halfway through they were empty. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying to you. Look, that's empty, that's
Never
empty.
seen anything like it. Ooh.
And the spittoon was only like a smidgen in there. But boy, was it fun.
I think she drank that as well, didn't she?
No, that's usually for Donald. But yeah, I wouldn't put it past her. So, okay, so we're going to Brazil,
Okay.
but we're going to try Prosecco.
Wow.
So the question would be, why is it called Prosecco? Is because they have grapes called Prosecco. So I think it's a bit of a cheeky number.
Okay.
Bit of a cheeky
So it's
number.
not actually Prosecco. It's not Prosecco. Then.
It's not Prosecco, no. It's the grapes are called Prosecco, 100% Prosecco grapes. Thus, it's put onto the bottle. So I don't know how quite Italy deals with that. They're probably not too happy.
Yeah,
But nonetheless, southern
it's
Brazil.
not a place you think of as making wine. I mean, obviously Chile, Argentina.
Well, Chile and Argentina obviously known,
Yeah.
but Brazil as well. So sorry.
I don't think I've ever had any wine from Brazil in my life.
Well, we're going to try some today, sir.
Hmm.
Let's see how this one goes. So it's called Prosecco. You're expecting it to taste like Prosecco.
Yeah.
So let's just see what we think. It's £4.50 direct from their wine cellars. £4.50.
£4.50?
But no, direct from their
Miranza.
wine cellars, everybody.
Yeah, what, you
by
wanna
the
go to
time,
Brazil,
yeah, exactly. So by the time it gets into UK, you're probably looking at about £15.
Do you know where in Brazil it comes from?
It's southern part of Brazil. It is in the Serra Gaúcha.
Is that where Sao Paulo
Accent
is,
over.
down that way?
Sao Paulo's north.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought.
I thought Sao Paulo was south.
I thought it was as well, but anyway.
He's
No.
very good on maps,
No,
though.
yeah, but don't question Pooh,
Yeah.
definitely not. But this is from southern Brazil. Founded in 1964, this winery. And as I say, it is called Prosecco. Let's see.
It's quite sharp, isn't it?
I'm not keen.
No,
Not keen on that.
no.
Oh, it's not too bad. After the sweet that we've had, probably that's given you that effect in the palate.
Maybe.
It's quite mellow, I find it. Bit lemony.
Yeah,
It's a bit lemony.
I'm saying sharp.
No, I take it back. It's the middle.
Okay,
Side, Sao Paulo.
all right. Yeah, I mean, I always thought it was
What's the taste of that
it's
one?
south of Rio, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's kind of I don't know. It doesn't taste much like Prosecco, though, does it?
No, it's not. I don't think it's meant to be. I think there's just a
No.
gimmick. Maybe they put that on there. To me, it's a little bit lemony. It's quite floral, yellow floral.
I'm not particularly fond of it. I have to
No,
say.
I'm not. No, doesn't work for me at all.
That's okay. That's what we've got to try these things, haven't we? So that was the Brazilian.
What does it taste like, Jen?
What have you going to say it tastes like?
It's very. It is sharp. Is the right word? I think very dry, very sharp, very Just I know because it's called Prosecco. You think you have Prosecco in your head. Maybe that's the other thing. It's confusing my mind a bit, but no, don't like that.
No.
Yeah, you can't really put your finger on what
I
it's.
do like the colour though. It's quite a nice colour.
Yeah,
It's quite
nice little
colour, and
bubbles in there,
It's
fizzing
got
away.
bubbles, but yeah, it's kind of nondescript in a way for me.
Yeah, well, it's it's a typical kind of spumante. Well, it's getting thrown away, so there we go.
Yeah.
That tells
that's
you
not
something.
Good. It's not a good sign, is
That's
it?
not
It's
a
getting
good sign,
dumped.
no. But I don't mind it. But there we go. How we're all different.
Okay,
colours.
you can have this as well if you want, because I'm going to chuck that. Yeah, that's not. I think that's a.
It's quite refreshing.
It's a no from me, as they say on the X Factor.
It's a no, is that? Is it a no for me? Yeah, the
Yeah.
X. Well, we can go straight on if we want to Moldova
Okay.
and the Sauvignon Blanc. So we're all quite familiar with
Yes.
Sauvignon Blanc from Tarasia Winery, founded in 1955. We're looking at £16 a bottle here.
Right.
Um,
I used to
So-
buy some nice Moldovan red actually. From
yeah,
a
they
guy,
do have that. Yeah.
From a wine company that I won't name them because they're not paying me to name them. So, I used to sort of buy them because it was really nice, and it was about 15 quid a bottle. It was like
They
Merry
do
Merry
good
Monk
reds.
or something like that.
Oh, I'm not
No?
familiar with that one. No,
Very
no, no.
good,
But
very
these
nice.
ones here do like a nice selection of Cabernet, of Merlot, and all of these. Really bold.
God, this smells quite strong.
Ooh,
What's the percentage on that
it's
one? Oliver?
12. That
Is
one.
it 12? Different style, different terroir. So we're looking at sandy, kind of clayey soils here for this wine.
There you go. Quite a nice bottle, quite a heavy bottle. I'm not sure of it though.
No,
I'm not. See, there is. Do you remember
It's a
the?
bit licoricey.
licorice. Yeah, that's a good point.
getting a bit of a-
Licorice.
Do you remember those really oaky Chardonnays that you used to get from Australia when that was
Yeah.
all the only Chardonnay you could get?
Yeah.
I feel it tastes a bit like that, quite strong.
It could have some. I mean, they used to do that with Chardonnay, very oaky. It become a trend, but I think today that trend has very much died down.
No, you can't.
They like
You
to
don't
have-
get them as much
no.
now.
You can do. I mean, sometimes in the steel tanks they'll put the oak chips in to give the expression of oak,
Right.
as opposed to putting them actually in an oak
In an
barrel.
oak barrel, yeah.
It's not as favoured as it once was. I prefer an oaky vanilla style Chardonnay, should we say,
Yeah.
over say a tank
Uh-huh.
no oak contact Chardonnay. But that's just
Yeah,
preference.
I'm not that keen on this one either.
No,
frankly.
No?
me neither.
I'll tell you
Oh,
what, if Chris were taking Jen out on a date, he's bombing so bad.
yeah. and he's supposed to be the
Don't like
bloody
him.
wine expert. You're not doing it.
Yeah, three
are you?
strikes and you're out, by the way. This is the third
Well,
one. The
now
next
I'm
one's no
sweating.
good.
I'm wondering what else is on your list because my absolute favourite wine is Gewürztraminer.
Right.
I love Gewürztraminer.
Well, I don't think we've got that on here.
Well,
No.
that's it. I'm leaving.
She's off.
I'm
She's
off.
done.
Well, we've done the one German one. It's black. You're going to stick with the Black Tower, I'm afraid.
Well, that's cheap, though. That's fine. We don't mind
Cheap
cheap
date, yeah,
dates.
that's no problem.
£5.25
Yeah.
is cheap.
Gewürztraminer is not cheap, by the way. Quite well, not the ones I buy anyway.
No. Where'd you get them?
Depends, but they're never below about 15 quid when I buy a bottle. Well,
That's not too bad for a
actually, to be
decent
fair,
wine.
it's been a while since I bought one, so
We
probably
drink
well
that.
over 20.
Do you?
Yeah, it's good. Gewürztraminer.
It's beautiful.
Gewürztraminer.
It's Alsace, isn't it?
It's Alsace region, yeah. It's absolutely gorgeous wine.
We can do one on Alsace
Betty's
wines.
do a
or-
very nice version. Betty's Cafe do a very.
Yeah.
They call it celebration wine, but it is Gewürztraminer. It's really nice.
What's
Nice.
Betty's Cafe?
It's a posh cafe in the north of England.
it?
There's a few of them
Ah,
actually.
okay. I see. I'm not familiar with that.
Is that
It's,
where you're from? Your home region?
I'm a northerner, yes.
Yeah, good,
and
nice.
and there's quite a few. There's a Betty's in York, and there's one in Harrogate,
Okay.
and there's one in Ilkley.
Oh, so it's a Yorkshire thing.
It's a
Very much a
it
Yorkshire
appears
thing.
to be, yes.
Yes, very nice.
But yeah, they do a really lovely Gewürztraminer. Actually, they should send me loads of bottles because I've just
They should.
plugged.
You've just
You've
plugged
just
it.
plugged them on the
Yeah.
national kind of show. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Why not, indeed? Okay, so...
Actually, this tastes better now that I've had a
No,
couple
you-
of glasses.
oh, good.
All right, I'll
You know,
have,
let's
I'll
try.
have another sip.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to wait. Don't forget
Well,
this
do you
is
know,
white
it's
wine.
true though.
It's
He's
true.
right. Sometimes, like because I think that Brazilian stuff put my palate off, right? because I don't know what it was. Whereas this is actually much more familiar tasting now. You have another glass of it.
It's it's unique in its style. It's not you taste it, you feel that's different. I've not had something like that really before. And that's what these little countries from Central Europe
No, I don't mind it.
With their terroir change, I think it's like black soil, sandy, clay soil, so
Yeah.
you're getting a mixture of kind of extraction from the earth into the grapes.
And a place like Moldova, which wasn't even a country until quite recently. I mean, is their wine business quite young?
I think I would say it's obviously has got a lot of history to it, but when it comes to actually merging in outside of their own country to the UK, it's quite young. It's quite unknown. There's not very much spending, say, from the government to promote their wines, should we say. So a lot of work has to be done from the small wineries themselves. We've spoken to quite a few. We get sent lots of samples to taste, hence we brought one here.
Yeah.
They've got good wines. The only obviously issue that they've got is the cost of the wines. By the time you get it into the UK and you've got the customs and all the whatnots that add to it, you're really going to have to be a fan of the country, have a tie to the country, or actually do fall in love with the wines.
They're not in the EU, are they?
I don't know, Pooch. We'll have to ask.
I don't think they are.
They're not in there.
I think they're probably one of those countries that might
like
have applied.
Serbia, isn't it? Serbia's
They
not.
might have applied to be in it, you know. But does that make a difference in terms of like importing from countries, whether or not?
I think if you're within the EU, it makes it easier.
How bloody Starmer's trying to get us back in the single market. Will
Don't
that make
start
wine
on
any
that.
cheaper? Probably not,
Don't
right?
start on that. Well, no, obviously not, because they're going to still want their money. So it would change nothing. It would probably just make the prices go up.
Yeah.
You know, like electric cars and all this kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're not in the EU. But they've got wonderful, unique flavours. And if you're a wine connoisseur, you do like to explore different flavours, you know. But next one we're going to go to Wales. So a little bit more closer to home. It's a fizzy wine. It's Velfrey from Pembrokeshire, so that's down on the south side, isn't it, of Wales?
Yes.
It's their 2019 cuvee.
Pretty sure Jen might like it.
Oh, I know.
I'm just
I
waiting
am
for it,
really hard to please today.
It's more fizz though.
Yeah, I don't mind a bit of fizz. I don't mind a bit of fizz.
So Velfrey, here, vineyard, lovely little place there, down a little country lane. I haven't been there, but I checked it on the Google Maps and it looks quite attractive. So we've got Cival Blanc, and this is Pembrokeshire.
Okay.
This is
Welsh.
in Pembrokeshire, yeah.
I don't think I've had Welsh wine before. Have we?
I don't think we've had one on
think
the
I
show.
have.
We've had Isle of Wight, we've had the English, and so forth. We haven't had Welsh, as far as I can see.
No,
on
I
the
don't think we
list.
have.
No. £45 is direct from their website if you want to try this.
Sparkling wine of Wales. Yeah.
Yeah. So they use tanks and barrels to make their wines. A small little winery there.
Cuvée.
Is it okay for you?
It's a bit
Tell us.
pretentious though, isn't it?
Tell us. So again, a different style altogether.
This is where the old bishop is, isn't it? Pembrokeshire.
Yeah.
We've got Bishop Dewar, who we do have a weekend sermon from. Let's have a look.
So again, it's quite acidic style, very fresh.
That's all right, actually.
Yeah.
Don't mind that.
I don't mind that, personally.
Not too bad.
Oh, crikey. We passed.
Yeah, just not great, but it's not too bad.
What would this wine make you think with regards to impersonating someone? What's the right impersonation for this wine?
God.
Let's go for one.
Yeah.
Choose a character.
Well, it's got a bit of fizz to it, so it just makes me think of my Lamborghini days, to be honest. I know it's more expensive than a Lamborghini, but this is it's not bad actually. It's stick a straw in it and I'll knock it back.
Absolutely right.
At the bottle, I mean.
I'm sorry you haven't got vape to go with it, unfortunately. Not allowed to vape. I suppose we could vape in here if you wanted to, but yeah.
You could turn this into
Donald
vape.
does.
You could maybe see if you could
What, put it in,
put
the liquid?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a good that. You could take that into Parliament. Nobody would know, would they?
Along with their sex toys. Then
Yeah,
bang.
just have a party. Have
Just
a little
have
bit
a
of a
party.
party.
Brilliant.
So southwest
This is all right,
Wales.
actually. I think this is all right.
I think they're okay, but everybody likes different things, obviously. It's about 11.5 in it, 11.5% alcohol in this, £45. So it's a little bit to pay when you think you can get champagne in the supermarket
That's
for
my
25.
problem with British.
This is the thing.
An English, sparkling
Yeah.
wine. It's too expensive.
But imagine if you lived in the area, that's where you lived, in Pembrokeshire, you'd want to support your local vineyard, and people would be probably inclined to try that. But it is still a hefty price. I do get it.
I think so. Yeah.
understand.
Well, particularly when you can buy a decent bottle of champagne.
Yeah.
If you want to, probably for 20 something.
Absolutely,
and that's more
you
than
can.
double that.
But some of the supermarkets like $13.99, and even if a Lidl or a say an Aldi, they have very good wine professionals.
Actually, yeah, there's a Lidl's champagne that we buy sometimes.
One of them is $13.99.
I don't obviously go there to buy it. I send somebody else, but it's like I think it's $10.99 or $12.99.
It can be. They once had promotion at $9.99, but it's $13.99. Richard
Something like
Boundfield, Master of Wine, is their kind of wine expert, so he'll choose some really great wines. So you're getting actually a very, very good wine.
Yeah.
It may not have Lancing or Piper Heidsieck or Bollinger on the label, but inside the bottle is what counts really at the end of the day.
Because down in the house in Sussex, my kids are always getting presents from their auntie, who sends bottles of Fortnum Mason's champagne.
Oh, that's what kids get for champagne.
We're not allowed. We're not allowed to drink that. So unless they're there, so we have to just leave all that and drink the cheap rubbish from. Cheap version from.
How dare you?
From Aldi's,
They say. Yeah. How dare you? So Welsh, one for the Welsh here. So well done them for these wines.
I think that's the best one yet. I would say.
Have you been to that side of the world, Wales, Mike?
I have actually, yeah. I've never been. I mean, they used to complain that there was too many English people there because a lot of English people moved to Pembrokeshire.
There is, yeah.
But the funny, because Pembrokeshire kind of gets civilised again. I don't want to upset anybody, but when you go to South Wales, you go through the kind of M4 corridor, and you start in sort of Chepstow, which is basically English, and then you get to Cardiff. We go through Newport, which is horrible. And I remember when they had the Ryder Cup in Newport, and it literally is one of the worst hellholes you've ever seen in your life.
Really?
And they've got this hotel called the Celtic Manor. That's where they played. That's where they played it. And I remember thinking, imagine Tiger Woods going down to
what is this?
downtown Newport for a curry. All right. It's all these kind of people with one eye in the middle of their head and stuff. And
just give them a couple of bottles.
I
of
once
that.
stayed there,
Fun.
right, and with the woman who's now the mother of my two youngest children, and we were and I said, and we sent down for some room service, and. Ordered some garlic bread to go with the pasta or whatever. We haven't got any of that. I said, what do you mean you haven't got any? We haven't got any garlic bread. I said, well, can you not make any? No, we buy it in, see? I'm like, you buy it in. You buy it in. And they couldn't make garlic bread. And I was like, really?
Wow.
And I mean, it's just horrendous. And then you get to Cardiff, which is a great town, lovely town, really funny.
Yeah.
Got a castle, got a university, it's really cool, got
Quite
a rugby stadium. Then you get a bit further west, you get to Swansea. Yeah. It starts to get a bit tricky.
Really?
It's sort of Deliverance-like. And then you get to Llanelli, which is really Deliverance-like, and very rugby and very sort of, quite a long way from England. They're all talking Welsh.
Yeah, you're in the
And then once you get to Pembrokeshire, you're kind of back in English territory again.
Because of the amount of
Brits or
was
English.
It like second home? They bought there back in the day because it's cheap.
Well, I think they tried to put an extra council tax on them, didn't they?
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Well, they used to burn them down, yeah.
Well, in Devon they've done that as well, didn't they? All the second homes, people weren't happy.
Yeah, the cottage burners. That was the beginning of the Plaid Cymru
graffiti
movement.
on the front, like you're not welcome here and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I understand something.
I get that everywhere, to be honest.
Do you? Especially on the bus or the train.
I have to go to Wales for that.
Do you want to do the cocktail on this one, Oliver?
Oh yeah, he does a cocktail as well. Oh, very good.
So the cocktail's going to mix with the...
Oh, hang on, let me knock this back.
Yeah, knock that back. So what's the cocktail today?
So the cocktail is a mixture of elderflower liqueur, vanilla syrup, lemon juice, a sprinkle of sugar, and grappa.
Oi!
Then topped up with our Brazilian Prosecco.
Aye.
So see if it makes taste.
Do you want to put that with the Welsh instead, or do you want to try?
No, I think we do it with the Brazilian.
Yeah. Okay.
And see how that goes. Because if it's got grappa in it, to be honest, it doesn't really matter. Everything
Every
else.
time Oliver's done a cocktail, let's be honest with you, we tasted it before. Actually, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
One of them was like really strong with Marilyn.
The really strong one with Marilyn, that was a bad.
That was the problem.
I
And that was at the beginning of the tasting.
Yeah.
I'll be smashed after this. So. It's going that way.
You thought more about the cocktail for the live show?
Oliver's actually researching that.
You're going to make one up.
Oliver's going to make one specifically
an MG
for
cocktail,
you.
yeah.
So you can own the rights to that if you want to sell it on, type of thing.
Still a work in progress.
Okay.
Work in progress.
Right,
and it'll be declared on the night.
I quite like that Welsh one. That's nice.
I don't mind it as well. So what we're going to do, I'll let Oliver do the...
Is that the grappa?
The serving.
Grappa is one of the killer drinks. I've got a friend who runs an Italian
I
restaurant.
just had a little whip of that. It went right. It cleared the nose.
Because some people, and perhaps you'll know this from your dad's restaurant days, right? there's a body of thought about grappa, which in Italy, where they treat it like brandy, and they have all kinds of different, different, ages, different flavours, and they do it. Funnily enough, this guy that I know runs a place in Kensington. If you say, bring out the grappa, he brings out like a selection of grappa.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And it's literally like rocket fuel.
Even the good stuff,
stuff will knock you out. You've got to be already pissed to even want one.
Yeah. I can remember being in Italy and we had finished the dinner and everything, and we had a coffee at the end, we had an espresso at the end, and then somebody brought out the grappa. My God.
Yeah.
I don't know, it must have had 60, 70% in there. That's what it felt like.
You're not messing about.
It was, wow.
Oh boy.
Right.
We should have 2 full Englishes now.
You might have to go and have another one at the end.
Good luck, everybody. Chin chin.
Cheers.
This cocktail doesn't have a name, so I'll let you three decide on something.
Oh, that's a good
So
one.
do you not give it some kind of Brazilian name?
Well, we could do. Maybe we can choose one each. We'll think of a name when we taste it.
Oh.
I mean, I would say Amazonia, but that's the name of a restaurant, isn't it? That's actually not bad. It makes the Brazilian stuff taste better.
That's not bad again, Oliver.
What do you think?
If you taste it, that's not bad. You try one for Pooch as well.
Tastes quite creamy, doesn't it?
That's not bad.
It is
Like
creamy.
a bit like ice cream.
It is creamy.
It's cream soda.
Cream soda.
Cream soda.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a cream soda.
Yeah, cream
flavour.
soda.
How is that? Is that because of the vanilla?
Sugar.
The vanilla, yeah.
That's like cream soda. Our white's cream soda, wasn't it? Back in the day.
Yeah.
Call it one of those nights then.
One of those all white nights.
All white nights. One of those nights.
All white at the back or white at the front?
Well, the Knights of the KK. No.
No.
No, sorry.
Oh, the KLF. You was going to say.
I was going to say that, yeah.
The KLF, yeah.
I don't know if I
I
like
like
that.
that.
Oh, I
don't
do.
know if
I like it. I think you should. I do like it.
It was going so
Thank
well.
Yeah.
You know,
It's such a brilliant taste.
he'd pulled it back,
Yeah.
and now it's all gone again.
I've lost it again. This is a tough one. This is a tough cookie.
Really
I
tough,
really must
yeah.
say. And I thought
Tough
William was
crowd.
going to be difficult. William was quite.
I'm only being honest.
You've got to be honest with wine. That's the nice
If I was
thing.
on a date, which I haven't been on for a very long time,
No.
because I've been married for a very long time. But if I was on a date, I would have been all polite and gone, "It's very nice."
Yeah, but you can't be
very
there. I think
nice.
but when you're in
That's
wine
a terrifying
industry,
prospect,
But I'm
though, isn't
old
it, though?
now, so I don't care.
But it's a
I just
terrifying
say I don't
prospect,
like
I
it.
think, for people, older people particularly, if you had to go on a date.
Oh God.
Can you
I
imagine?
wouldn't want to think.
No.
I don't
today.
think I would ever
What's
do
the
that.
first question you're going to ask someone? I think you just have to ask them some.
I've got a list.
How much?
Well, I think, are you awake? I think, do you know what's happening in the world? That's the first question. If they turn up with their Labour Party, you think, well, okay, thank you.
You've got to go in
Well,
early.
do you know,
with
I
stuff
know a
like
girl
that.
who is now married, actually, but worked for the Telegraph, doesn't anymore. And she, before she met the guy that she got married to, was dating. And she was in her, I don't know, late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
And she was on this dating app, but I don't know which one it was. But she said that she was a conservative. And she would get people saying, I'm sorry, and I've just read your profile, you're a conservative, I don't want to go out with you.
Well, I think that's. I
Well,
don't
no,
know.
but it's kind of ridiculous, isn't it?
Well, it depends. Somebody said,
But she was gorgeous as well, by the way.
I'm a Green Party
They usually
member.
are, to be
I think
fair.
that would be
Yeah.
enough. It
Conservative
depends what
women.
you're looking for at what age as well. If you're looking for a companionship.
Well, I would never get on a dating app anyway.
no,
Just
I've
wouldn't
never
do
been
it.
on
No,
one.
I wouldn't.
Just wouldn't do it.
No.
No.
And then
Lots of people don't.
lots of people
It's
do
fake.
though.
I'd rather go to the supermarket and bump into somebody
Yeah.
naturally, and that's nice.
That's
that
how
way.
I am. I'd rather see you in
That's
person.
more difficult as well now, though, isn't it? Because you
Probably.
can't start chatting people up in the street.
No,
Those-
because
those-
you'd be accused of sexual harassment.
misogyny,
Yeah.
That's true. If you
This
think
man's
about
been
how
following
would
me.
you, how would
Unless
you
you're the
find someone?
niblet.
The niblet can get away
And then
with
she'll
it.
just whip something out of a handbag
Yeah.
and say,
Have you ever
"Follow
seen
me."
one of these?
Have some of that.
It was it Ken Dodd used to do it, you know. What do you think of this, madam? You know. Yeah.
Yeah, be careful how you identify anybody. But I didn't mind this one. So it's a
No,
no
I
from
feel
you?
really sorry for. I'm sorry to go on about this. I think it's quite a good subject. I feel really sorry for my kids
Yeah.
because I don't know how. I don't think they know how to do it either. You know, in terms of how you ask somebody out or whether you get misconstrued.
Well, back
or,
in the
you
day,
know.
you didn't have the internet. So when I met my
Thank
wife,
God.
you didn't have the internet. You had to have a personality. You had to joke, laugh, and joke. And bit by bit, it happened. And then you may have plucked up the courage to say,
or
"Would you
somebody
like
new
to
at
go
work
out?"
or something like that. Yeah.
And it was charming. It was nice. So when you talk about, well, how did you meet your wife? When I met her here and that, da, 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 da. But now to, we saw each other. I'd done swipe left or
Swipe,
right,
yeah.
and I found her that way. It's still nice that you found somebody. Of course it is. But to me, that's a little bit. It's a little bit. Not as nice.
It's not
But
very
modern
romantic,
day,
is it?
It's modern day. And young people need to go out and meet someone nice. They need to fall in love with the character, personality, whatever it is you like.
Yeah.
Or the wines, whatever
Yeah.
it is you like.
Or just moaning about the wine.
But I
it's
imagine-
dreadful.
But
I
that
imagine-
could attract someone you don't know. They say, I like that lady. She
Yeah.
doesn't like the wine.
Yeah, and maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe because I don't think there's any shortage.
I don't
of
think
kids getting-
it's an age thing. I think lots of people of different ages say what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's really sad, though, isn't it? And I'm so glad that I'm of the generation where I didn't have a phone.
Yeah.
I didn't get a phone until I was 19, I think,
Right.
is when I got my first phone.
I'm so old that when we got our first phone in the house, it was a shared line with the people next door.
Well, I had the pulse dialing.
So you'd pick the phone up to make a phone call, and there'd be somebody on it.
Well, everybody at home had the pulse dial in the red handset. If somebody had like a yellow one at home or green one, you go, Christ, that's amazing. You've
Yeah.
got like a green telephone.
Yeah.
Do you
But
remember those
still
little
go,
ones that when you picked it up, the whole thing came with it, and it was like the little kind of L-shaped.
Yeah, yeah.
It was really light.
No, of course, I don't remember any of that. No, I wish I
We're all
could say I
showing
don't
our
remember.
age now.
And the
Yeah.
rotary dial thing.
Well,
Yeah,
actually,
we had one of those.
Yeah.
That was the question. Was what it was the
Do you guys remember your first LP, CD, and cassette?
or Betamax cassette, video
Yeah.
cassette. It depends
Yeah.
how far, or 16mm film, whatever it was.
Well, the first
age.
album I ever got, my dad actually bought a copy of Sgt. Pepper when it first came out. But my sister seemed to nick that, so I can't really count
Okay,
it. But
but
the
worth a
first
bit of
album
money.
I actually bought for myself was "Don't Shoot Me, I'm an Indie Piano Player" by Elton John.
When would that have come out, Mike?
Okay, 72.
71? 72.
It's the one with Daniel on it.
Right, yeah.
That was the Daniel kind of era. So
Good, wonderful music.
First,
back
you say cassette?
Yeah, a lot of video cassette. So it could have been a movie or
Oh, right.
something, or Betamax. Back in those days.
Well, we
you
used to buy blank
Yeah,
videos
Oh,
and then
Scottish.
record
And
and then
record on
record
TV.
movie and then record movies.
Yeah, the
you know.
Scots kind of one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Re-record, not
Well,
fade away.
BASF, B-A-S-F.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Remember them?
Yeah.
And
and
the same
tape
with
stuff
with
and things,
cassettes. We would literally record.
play and record at the same time.
Yeah,
Oh,
my
yeah.
parents had one of those horrible big Sony music centres,
Right.
which had a record player and a cassette
Yeah.
and a radio,
Wow.
all in one,
Yeah.
and it was hideous actually. But you used to be able to stick the cassette in and record off the radio.
That's it.
Yeah.
So my sister and I would sit there on a
The
Saturday
charts.
doing the
Waiting.
charts. Yeah, doing the charts.
That's what you did as youngsters. And you'd be,
Yeah.
remember you used to rewind the tape like
Yeah.
with a pencil
With
and
a
go like
pencil.
that.
Yeah.
But you
'Cause
try
it
and
was-
explain that to them, they go, what are you talking
They
about?
wouldn't- I think if you showed them some kids a cassette tape, they'd be like,
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
Is that?
But it's got like 5 songs on it.
Yeah.
Well, this has got 10,000.
I used to use it as well. I used to have one of those little Sony cassette players, that, the square ones, which I used to use when I sort
Yeah.
of started my journalistic career, because I used to want to be a music journalist, and I went to interview the Undertones at the Rainbow in North London on the Archway Road, and I went and sat with what's his face, Fergal Sharkey,
Oh, Fergal Sharkey. Yeah.
and recorded this interview with him for about half an hour
A good heart.
for this magazine in Bristol, and I came out and I realised I'd forgotten to press record.
All done it.
And I went, oh, fuck.
Oh, God.
But he was great because I went back, I had to go backstage again. I was like, sorry, can you let me?
You mind?
I knocked on the door. Oh, hello, Mike. And
Yeah.
I said, I'm really sorry. I said, but that whole interview we just did, I said, didn't record.
Crikey, Nora. It's difficult.
He went, oh, come back and we'll do it again.
Well, that's lovely.
And he was really nice.
That's nice,
And,
yeah,
he,
he
and, he-
couldn't
and we did it again.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's not easy for you to knock on the door and say, sorry, I
No,
made such
and I was
a...
only about 20 or something.
That's lovely, that.
You know.
Yeah. Well, how old's Fergal Sharkey? He had the
He
number
must
one...
be the same, a bit older than me, I
Is
guess.
he not on X or Twitter and quite vocal?
He's
Is
very
he quite
good
awake?
on. He's very good on rivers and water. He's very against the
Yeah,
pollution
he
of the
does
rivers.
do some good stuff on
He does
on
a lot.
social
Yeah,
media.
he's actually
Yeah.
really,
I
he's
have
actually
noticed
really
him.
quite active, and I
Yeah.
quite admire him. Actually,
I like his
He
content.
probably his politics are not ours or mine.
No, but some
But
of
he's a
what
good
he
guy, I think.
shares, I think,
Yeah.
is quite good. So it's the same guy, obviously, yeah. But A Good Heart was the number one.
Good Heart was a
It
great
literally
song. Yeah. But
went
the
on.
Undertones were a great band as well. You know, my cousin. What was it? My cousin.
My Perfect Cousin.
My perfect cousin. That's
And
it.
Teenage Kicks.
Teenage
Billy
Kicks
Bond's favourite song
Was
of all time.
brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about yourself? LP? Do you
First
Did you buy an
LP
LP?
was-
Yeah.
I believe Michael Jackson's Bad.
Nice.
He is,
Um,
isn't he? I believe Michael Jackson's
Allegedly.
bad.
I agree with that. Allegedly.
Do you not believe that?
I'm not
Did
sure.
you not see the
I'm
pictures
not
of the mail the other day?
Something's odd because he was slept in people's beds and all this kind
Yeah.
of stuff. You think, wait a minute, but the parents, why are
he
you
had no
letting this happen?
childhood and he was
No.
horribly
But
abused.
he knew
wasn't
something. And I think he
Something's
tried
not
to.
right,
But
yeah.
it's a long story. Sorry.
No,
LP
no.
one CD.
Oh gosh, I can't remember. I mean, I was really into rock and metal, I still am. I still am.
Yeah, we still are.
Like
Yeah.
who?
Well, I was a lifelong Metallica fan, and don't get me started because I can't get tickets to see them in London. I'm really upset. I'm just trying
So
to think
your
what my
CD
first CD was.
Because that would have been like in the early
Because
90s.
it was 90s, so
Yeah.
I mean, it was all Pearl Jam, probably Pearl Jam
Something
or
on Pearl Jam.
Nirvana or
That's a good
Oh,
band,
wow.
isn't it? Pearl Jam's a great
something.
band.
Very
Something.
rude title, Pearl Jam.
Go on.
Well, think about what it is.
Oh! I never thought about it.
No, I
Oh,
didn't
we're
think of
going
that,
back into
no.
the niblet territory
Yes.
now, aren't we?
Right.
This is
I never
after
thought about that
90s.
either.
No, I didn't
You
know
are
that.
the
Never thought
disgrace.
No, just,
Yeah.
just well informed.
Bad influence. Here is us all.
I was, well, just to help you out, I think I was living in New York in the early 90s, so I bought my first CD player in New York, and I went and bought probably half a dozen CDs, but the one I remember first buying was an R.E.M. Something for the People. What was it?
Automatic.
Automatic for the People.
yeah.
That was their
Also for the
second
People.
album. Was that their second album?
I'm not sure, but I just remember playing.
Everybody
It
Hurts.
was their breakout album, I think,
Oh, they
wasn't
were
it? Whether it was their
incredible. Yeah.
first or
Late
not. it was
80s, weren't they? They
the
were
one that
amazing,
Yeah.
actually.
hit, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were a great band.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I was never into R.E.M. particularly. They were too soft. for me.
Yeah, because you're more hardcore by the sounds
I
of it.
like-
Losing
well,
My
I'm-
Religion
yeah,
and
like
Everybody
more
Hurts.
rock.
There's
Yeah,
something,
it was a
something
great album.
special.
They were
Really
a
good
bit
album.
whingy though, weren't they? Losing my everybody hurts. Oh, come on.
We can't win with wine, I
It's
can't
a
win
bit
with music.
whingy,
No.
isn't it?
What about,
absolutely.
what about the video cassette? Do you remember like going
It
into
wa- again,
W.H. Smith and buying a video
It was
cassette? or
all.
something?
It was all what
Music-y.
we recorded off the
Was
TV. So it was a lot of blank tapes, and I couldn't remember. But I do remember we had all the police academies.
Oh yes,
Recorded.
Tackleberry,
They could
Hightower.
never make Police Academy now. They could never make it. They would never be allowed. Any of those, all of those
It's like
things
Naked
would be
Gun.
off limits. Yeah.
Naked Gun was brilliant, wasn't it?
The original, Leslie Nielsen, you talk
Yeah.
about, the original
Yeah.
was great. Although Liam
That one he did with
Nielsen
Priscilla Presley, do you remember?
Yeah. Well,
And
she
she's
was
up the
excellent.
ladder,
Yeah.
and he's got a nice beaver, and she brings a beaver down, and it's like,
I know.
it's a beaver, it's brilliant. It's
But they've
just
got
hilarious.
good quality people to do this and remain straight and not.
Yeah, it's
It's just
brilliantly
perfectly
done.
done.
Yeah.
No one can do it better than what he did. But Liam Nielsen did try it recently. It's not too
Don't think-
bad. It's
I've
never
not
going to be
seen it.
like the original. But
I
it
don't
didn't
think they should
too
do
bad.
that. I don't think
I
they
wish
should
they'd
do
stop
it.
rebooting
Yeah.
everything, remaking
Yeah, stop
everything,
it. Yeah,
or
come up with
live
something new.
actioning
Yeah.
everything. Just stop. Just write stuff. But they're so frightened to write anything in case
I
it offends
disagree, yeah.
people. And this is why I like the freedom
Yeah.
that we now have.
Right.
That we're
Well,
on
on this
YouTube and we're
show,
not.
definitely you can say what you want to say.
Yeah,
That's
and I mean, I
important.
do the same thing on my channel. Like I don't really care.
Have you had any trouble from anyone in terms of?
Well, not.
Because
I
you're
mean,
not. I mean, you're not.
people moan and complain all the time, and I just
Yeah,
leave
I
them
agree.
hanging because I love that. It winds them up more to not respond to them because they're
How
desperate.
do you deal with that? Does that do
I
you,
ignore
do,
them.
do you take offence? Could you have to be very thick-skinned, or you have to be, when somebody doesn't like what you're doing and they're offensive at the same time? Do you take that as a compliment,
but
or
also,
do you take
you're
that?
not particularly a polemicist.
Not saying
are
they
you?
do, but how do
Oh
you
no, they
deal
do.
with that?
People pull me apart all the time. People will pull apart my appearance.
But do you take that as a compliment?
Whatever they want to do. It amuses me, and I think, well, they're entitled to say what they want. I won't stop them from saying it, but
No, 'cause
I
it's
will
their
not
right to say.
engage with them because I've made that mistake too many times.
Yeah,
I've
I
gone
agree.
back at them.
You can't
and
win,
the thing is,
can
they're
you?
so desperate for me to be triggered
Brought into
enough
their-
to engage with them. They want it so badly. I'm not going to give them what they want.
That's a
They
good- that's
want
a
it
nice
too much.
answer. I
And I
like
know
that.
it's going to wind them up.
Yeah.
I've obviously seen it.
Yeah.
But I'm not, and they'll do it. They'll find ways to try and pull me in. And one of them said, "Ooh, I've scored a hit." When I responded to, he was a creepy old man.
That's terrible,
"Oh, look,
yeah.
I've scored a hit."
They're
She's
such
come
Well,
Yeah,
in.
everybody
aren't they?
gets it though, don't they?
And so after that, actually, I left him to it, and he'll still come in and comment on stuff.
What is the matter with
Do you not
people?
find yourself blocking
No.
people like that?
And why they're watching you? If they don't like you, why are they watching
because
you?
if you block them,
They'll come
then-
back harder.
then they've affected you in some way.
Yeah.
If you mute them,
That's a very good point. Yeah.
you can never see anything
Yeah.
they write again. They
Yeah.
have the freedom of speech
Yeah.
to call you every name under the sun,
To a degree.
to tell
to a
you
degree.
whatever they want to say.
And opinions.
I'll
fine.
never hear it. I'll never read
Yeah.
it. everyone else in the world can read them.
And they
pulling
don't
me
know
apart.
whether you've ever seen it either, I guess.
And
right?
I won't know that it exists.
That's a very nice
Ignorance
answer. Well
is
done, you.
bliss, and you have the right to call me whatever you want to call me. We're all good here. I have the right to completely ignore you like
But
you don't exist.
The fundamental basics is they're watching what you do. So
It's
that's
clearly
it.
hitting a nerve. It's the
Exactly,
lefties.
yeah, yeah.
They
Yeah, yeah.
cannot cope
No.
with fun being made of their own people. People on the right can.
Yeah.
Like, because let's say Reform do win the next election. I've already told people in Reform I will be watching
Yeah.
and I will be writing.
Taking the mickey out of them, yeah.
And I will take the piss out of you if you come out with crap. But just know, it's I can't like side with one and
They
not
had
the other.
They had Spitting Image.
No,
back
I've
in the
said
day.
the
It's the
same
same thing.
Spitting Image was amazing.
Yeah.
They did.
It's
I
not-
mean, for God's sake, they did the royal family. They even did the corgis. For
Yeah.
But
God's
if you've
sake,
done-
there was
I
a
think
Spitting
if you-
Image puppet of the corgis.
That's complimentary if you did that. If you was on
Right.
Spitting Image, you think, well, I've made it.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
made
I'd
it
thought.
exactly.
Totally,
know,
yeah.
I don't
Well,
think
I'm the
it-
same because there are some of these, lefty comedian people who
Don't punch down.
can't remember. That guy that does the sort of the where he sits behind the screen and he's supposedly feeding lines to Boris Johnson and all that. I can't remember his name. He's quite a famous sort of lefty comedian.
She's been very good. She's drinking
She
water.
is been very good. This is lovely, by the way.
I like it.
And he's he does he takes the piss out of Boris Johnson. He's done Farage, and it's always and they use real footage, and he sort of he's like the guy behind the scenes going, say this, now tell them this,
funny.
it's quite funny
It is
actually.
Yeah.
funny. I
But
find
he
it
did
funny.
me,
Yeah.
and
didn't know
I
that.
actually was quite flattered. I was like, this is great,
Just
so
have
I'm now
sense of humour
I've now
about it,
annoyed
yeah.
him enough. And
But it
been
is a
right wing
compliment.
enough to be
Yeah.
picked on by
It
him,
is a
and I thought
compliment.
that's quite good
Fair
fun.
enough. Yeah.
But it was quite unpleasant. He had things like like tar coming out of his mouth, and depicted me as this horrible, ghastly sort of neo-Nazi type.
But
and
it's
but
still a compliment,
nevertheless,
but you have
like
to be
you, I was like, I
thick-skinned.
don't care.
But you have to be thick-skinned.
I
'cause
couldn't
if
care
you're an
less.
emotional person, you take it very personally, you can be down. So
Yeah.
if I get criticism in a negative way,
Yeah.
I look at it, I evaluate, I thank someone for their comments and say that's really good point
You
of
don't-
view.
don't ever thank
I
anyone.
don't
But
ever
if it's
do
not
that.
nasty,
No.
if it's constructive criticism or feedback, I think that's
Right.
important to get from people and say
Yeah.
thank you, I appreciate you watching, and I've taken note. And,
Yeah,
but
fun
if it's
enough.
derogatory, if it's not nice, then sometimes it's still hard to deal with. So
Yeah,
you need
of
to speak
course.
to your wife or your family, and they say,
Yeah.
look, just don't worry about it.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
2 people, and it's 500 people that like you and 2 people that don't.
Well,
So
my daughter's
it
like that.
depends how
'Cause
strong
she'll
you are.
go.
Well,
if
but
there's
she's
a
quite a
big-
strong
big-
lady.
Yeah, but if there's ever a big pile on me, and she'll be like, and not so much now, but a few years ago, she'd be like, I'm not having this. I'm like, just
I can
don't
imagine
bother.
she'll
Just
get
don't-
really angry.
Yeah,
Emotionally,
I'm
yeah.
like, just don't get involved. It's not worth it,
Yeah.
But it's
I mean,
normal
kids
that she
will
wants
be
to
like
protect
that.
you, so
Yeah.
that's nice.
Right.
But
But
more
I'm
successful
fine,
you get.
I'm literally, I've been taking abuse for years. It doesn't bother me.
Look where you are.
Mostly
so-
from people I work with. Never mind
Really,
people
yeah.
that hate me.
But anyway, I tell you what, that was nice. Really, I appreciate what you said there. I think it's good for people to learn that they're watching, that are going to want to become like famous online. They have to take a degree of criticism.
Because people
or
are
abuse.
horrible. I mean,
I think
the online
they are.
world is horrible.
I'm better now I'm older because if I look back to me in my 20s, I was really thin-skinned
Yeah.
and it would have absolutely
Thin-skinned.
broken my heart
Yeah.
and I wouldn't have been able to have coped with any
Right.
kind of criticism.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, I
Sorry.
don't really
That's
care.
good. Well done.
I don't
Yeah.
really care. Just
Yeah.
say what you need to say.
It just means that
Okay.
you're becoming more popular.
Yeah,
And it's
okay.
like negative, bad PR sometimes is positive PR and all this kind of thing. So
Yeah, they do have. Well, yeah, the more attention you get, obviously, then the haters come in to try and,
that's the
throw
thing,
you
isn't it? When
off.
you become, they're going to look at your past. So you put a tweet out 15 years ago that said this, and I found out you, and you've got a picture of you here, and you think, well,
Yeah, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I'm very open about my post as well and where I started, and
Where did
what-
you start, as a matter of interest? Just because I don't know. Actually.
Yes.
Well, I was an actor before I had my children. I stopped to have my children, and then sort of fell back into performance because I was really annoyed in 2021 seeing what I call the conspiracy grifters
Yeah.
that were pushing post-COVID, pushing all of these crazy ideas about med beds. Med beds were something that was gifted to us by the Galactics that Donald Trump was aware of and were being held in underground tunnels.
Right.
And they are going to cure everything, regrow limbs, There were
I've never heard
people that actually believed this and that were paying these YouTubers on BitChute and YouTube and Rumble monthly
To push
fees
it.
to listen to them talking about all sorts of things, that the royal family are lizards and all the classics. But there was two that really bothered me: the medbeds thing and the new financial system that was coming. What was it called? The quantum financial system. So I'm just talking to Rick. Quantum financial system. So they were claiming that you should buy up all of this defunct currency. So the Zimbabwean Zim, the dinar, buy it up, and it's going to be worth. There's going to be a financial reset. It's going to be worth millions. But it was always linked through them.
Was it a business scam?
It was a scam. They were making money from it. But they were tying it all into Trump stuff.
Right.
And so there was a lot of Americans that were devastated that he lost in, or whatever your opinion of the 2020
He didn't lose, man.
election is. Very let's just say very fishy, wasn't it? The Biden win.
It was very trouty and salmon and really fishy.
Yeah, right.
And
anyway, basically they seized on the devastation of the people who wanted Trump in, and then they told them so many lies. He's going to be reinstated. He's going to be reinstated.
Come and arrest everybody.
And look, there's going to be mass arrests. That was the mass arrests.
They're talking about Q.
It was very much related to the Q stuff, but these were offshoot grifters from the Q stuff that were charging money to tell people all of these things.
Sounds like they're taking advantage of that. Yeah.
There were people who were stopping their cancer treatment because they were so convinced that medbeds were real and that their cancer was going to be cured that they didn't go and get chemotherapy. There were people who weren't paying their mortgages because they were so convinced there was going to be a new financial system that they stopped paying their mortgages.
Yeah, I wasn't overly aware of that.
I
don't remember any of this. No,
it didn't go mainstream.
I look into things myself quite a bit.
It didn't go. These people were making a lot of money. They're still going today. I stopped. So I started parodying them because they were so ridiculous. There was a guy who lives in Marbella, who of course, like all the con artists, find their way over to that part of the world, and he's still going to this day. He's charging €11 a month for his Insiders Club, where he tells people. Also, I can't remember what his latest one is, but it is the most outrageous nonsense, and it's really dangerous crap that he's pushing, and they're all going the way of Tucker Carlson in that kind of.
Tucker Carlson, I don't mind, but he kind of floats. I think
Tucker and Candace and all of those people.
But even Candace, I mean, I've watched some of her stuff, and if I'm honest with you, I like to watch things to get an overview of everything. So Tucker, Candace, all different people I watch, because I think it's very good that you. And sometimes I look at left-wing people's comments as well, just to see what people are saying. But I think Tucker's floated against Trump, and then pro-Trump, and then now he's against Trump.
No, he's against him, yeah.
With who's the other guy?
Well, I saw he was on.
Really
I don't know if you saw it, you probably didn't. But bizarrely, he was on Laura Kunzberg's show on Sunday.
I
know. I only watched that because it's the sort of the main sort of political show of the week that I watch on a Sunday morning. And Victoria Derbyshire was actually doing the interview. And I hadn't seen Tucker Carlson talking for a long time. No. And she actually did quite a good interview with him. But it's almost as though he's basically bought the farm, he's bought the dollar from the Gulf, and he's now just down to Israel. And everything he says
are they just
is
pushing for money? Like, is it Piers Morgan? I mean, I know you're okay with Piers Morgan. I'm not overly.
Well, he's a mate of mine,
but that's fine.
I'm not just okay with him; he's a friend of mine.
I didn't know. So, but he seems to float to where the money is. He's very good at handling himself. He gets the contracts. He's floating from one thing to another. Do you think these people are more about the money and what's people?
I think the money's an issue because they make
where the
so
money's
much
coming
of it.
from.
So it's maybe not the ideology as such. It's literally let's see what the broad mass of the population wants.
I think Piers was
being very clever at that.
I think Piers was much more sympathetic to Israel. When October the 7th happened than he is now. He would probably say.
Would it change? Because
he would probably say because Israel have got some things wrong. which is a perfectly responsible position to hold.
Yeah.
Other people might say, you know, he's had some investment from some places in, you know, the Gulf, which
And I
might
would
have,
agree with
which
that.
might have changed that view. I don't know.
I don't know. No.
You know,
Well,
it's not
Tucker
for me to
certainly
say.
has.
But
Tucker
Tucker,
certainly
These
yeah.
are big
has, and I
media
think
people.
Candace has as
Piers,
well.
Candace, Tucker, they're massive. They've got massive audience. When you watch them online, they've got like 200,000 people watching or have watched their programmes. So people watch.
Well, Candace just straight up hates Jews. She absolutely despises Jews, and that is. I mean, even you could see that during
Was she
Trump's.
pro-Trump?
She was.
Not
during,
now.
During,
He dissed her recently,
not anymore.
didn't he? Yeah.
But during Trump's
Yeah, it's
inauguration, he had different religious leaders come on and do speeches during and prayers.
Yeah.
And he had the Catholic one, he had Christian one, and then I think I'm done with that, Tony. And then he had a rabbi come on, and she was live streaming it because she wasn't invited to the inauguration, and she take me out of this one. Take me out of this one, and it was so clear. And then she says, "Oh no, I'm against Israel," and now she's gone full on. It's the Jews, it's the Jews, it's the Jews, and she's completely obsessed. And it's very clear that's where her
Because there is a section of the right which brings that particular argument. You know?
Yeah, they do. The Jews run the world. All of that kind of
But
nonsense.
there's only like 7 million.
But I had a taste of it when I used to do the overnight show at Talk Sport, which was my first kind of proper radio job nationally, I suppose you would say, because I come from Scotland and I was doing this overnight show, and it was all about conspiracy theories. A little bit. It was amazing because we would have all these characters ringing in, nutters, you know, from up and down the country. And we had this one guy, and a lot of truthers, you know, who went, you know, well, it's obvious, isn't it? When you look at the way the building comes down, you know, you can see the way that the explosions are going. And I'm like, how long have you been involved in the demolition of high buildings?
Yeah. They're all experts on everything, aren't they?
I don't just. I know. I don't.
And it's like, well, I'm not really an expert. And it was great. It was a funny show because, again, my humour kind of came out. And we used to have this Brummy Bricky who used to ring in.
I remember you cutting someone off talking about it.
Oh,
I think you cut them off.
And we gave up talking about Israel and Palestine because it was just no point, you know.
I have watched you for many years, so I like.
But there was this guy, and he'd ring up, and he was always stoned. He was like, I was like, I can't remember his name, Bill or something from Birmingham. And he's like, I was like, oh, how you doing? He's like, yeah, well, I've been thinking. I'm like, all right. What have you been thinking? He said, well, you know, Prince Charles, you know, he's if you add up all the letters of his name and you give him all numbers, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what the number is?
It works out to 47 and 47.
He gets 666.
Oh, right.
And I said, what name are you using? I said, are you using Charles Philip Arthur George, Prince of Wales?
Or just Charlie?
No. And I went, well, then you've got the wrong name. And he went, I'll have to go away and think about it.
Yeah,
and he
I've got to make it fit a different way.
One night and went, do you know, I found out where the headquarters of the New World Order is. And I went, oh, great, where is it? He went, Greenwich. And I'm going, I said, I know Greenwich quite well. I said, I'll pop down there and knock on the door. I said, there's a new Mexican place. He said, could it be above there? No, I don't know. And people just want to believe stuff.
Well, people have probably laughed at it. We should have him phoning up the show now and speak to you and see where he's at. This Bill from Birmingham.
Well, I mean, and by the way, I would put the Greta Thunbergs of this world in the same place.
Yeah.
Who said that the world would end in 2023.
Yeah.
And here we are, it's 2026.
26, 27.
I mean,
they're all nutters.
The nutters on either side of the political aisle.
But I agree with you.
But for
it's
me,
the extremities,
For me, I went after the ones that were more on the right, actually, which is why it amuses me when people are like, oh, she's such a right-winger. Actually, I started...
Making fun of it.
Making fun of those who were, I would say, more on what they call the alt-right or the extreme right, whatever
it is,
That was where they sat. But it was more because vulnerable people's lives were being affected, and it really upset me because they were listening to the most wacky, ridiculous thing. There was someone suggesting that the Princess of Wales was born male because she has long arms.
Princess of Wales born male. Okay.
I mean, this is how
You mean
crazy.
Diana or Camilla?
No, the now Princess of Wales.
Oh, sorry. Oh, right.
So Catherine,
right.
Because she's got really long arms, she was born male. And these people genuinely believe it.
But the problem is you had the word conspiracy theory that was literally demonised in some ways, and they demonised it.
I know it was.
I don't
yeah.
think there's any issue with people looking into things. Otherwise,
Not
we
at
wouldn't
all.
have detectives or
Well,
police
no, I mean the
force.
other
You have
side
to
of
look
the
into things.
conspiracy argument, and which is completely valid, is that a lot of people who were accusing me of conspiracy theories about COVID, for example,
I've been proven
have
completely
been proven
right.
completely
Correct.
right.
Yes.
So there's that side of it as
Yeah.
well.
But this is why we
Right.
need to. But conspiracy theorists are fine. If you go down rabbit holes and you go and adding up numbers.
What is this, by the way?
because-
What
Sorry
is
to interrupt
this?
you.
Well,
This
what,
is-
what do you think it is? That's a good point. Maybe start from that.
Well,
It's
it's
something old from our cellar.
okay.
Well, cellar.
It tastes like champagne
It's
to
like
me.
honey. It's like,
It tastes like
I
champagne
like
to
what
me.
you just said there. So we're getting on now. So the date's back on, apparently.
No, she
So,
said she liked it.
no, but she said a word that I like, actually. So I like the word.
I mean, it tastes like
You're very
champagne.
true, Pooh. I know, I've ruined it. I
No
know.
charm.
Is it champagne?
Mead?
Mead. Are you
it's
trying
not
it?
champagne
No.
at all.
You don't think it's champagne? It's not very bubbly,
It's like
is it?
a much heavier, almost like a sherry type.
You're saying the right words, heavier and honey.
Right.
Yeah.
Sherry. That's
Yeah.
very good.
Okay.
That's very good. It is an older champagne, so it's a bottle that we've had about 12 years in
It
our
certainly
cellar.
tastes like champagne to me.
It has got the characteristics,
Don't mind
but
that.
what it is it has more of a umami style. So we've seen a more richer, say, juicy apricot
Yeah.
jam and honey.
Yeah.
It's a bit
style.
like, do you remember he brought me a bottle of Bollinger for
We did, yeah.
to celebrate,
yeah.
what was it,
And that was a
13 million
wonderful
views or
show.
something.
Yeah.
And it was a
I bet
really
it
old
was.
one.
What views do you got now? Out of interest, do we know, Pooch?
Well,
How many
when we-
views?
well,
15.5 million.
15.5 million.
15.5 million, yes.
Wow.
Well, actually, it's
Amazing.
15.6. I think we'll hit 16
Yeah,
this
yeah.
That's
weekend.
awesome.
But he brought me a bottle of Bollinger from the 70s, I think, was it?
1997.
Oh, 97,
it was,
okay.
but we
So-
can go back to that date. and
Okay,
we will go
so
back
it was
to
like
that
30
date.
years old anyway. And it was really dark and yellow and looked a bit like urine, to be honest. But actually tasted lovely.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was a bit of an acquired taste. It wasn't like that
Well,
kind
I
of
think something
fresh.
like that may have been bottled, say, so 97, it might have been bottled in 2004, so it would have had 21 years in the bottle, in the box, you
Right.
know. So this is what it does. So champagne, when you look at it, it's got no bubbles. You think, that's not attractive. I want bubbles in champagne. You've gone from floral, acidic style,
I like this.
and you've got
It's
more
really
deeper
nice.
style, honey, mead, as Pooch said,
Yeah.
and you've also got maybe caramel,
It's you can
Yeah.
smell it like a caramel.
those kind of things. So we
And
just
where's
wanted
it
to do
from?
that. It's champagne. So the champagne one, let me just check here. It is. We do have the
Show
bottle
us the
here.
bottle.
Yeah, it's a little mini bottle because it was a palate cleanser
So
for the
Grand
next
Cru,
wine.
Frank Bonneville.
It is a Grand Cru. So Grand Cru Blanc de Blanc. So it's
You see
Chardonnay.
that?
It's from the Côte de Blanc region, Aviz. So Aviz is very a really well.
Isn't there a motorbike called a Triumph Bonneville?
Possible there is, yeah.
It's a Triumph Bonneville, isn't it?
It's 1959. This grower champagne
Very
was
nice.
formed.
Wow.
You would pay per bottle about £45 to £50 a bottle for this champagne.
So there is a bit of
There is a
activity,
little bit,
of
but it'll
fizz.
go very, very quickly, usually. It goes very, very quickly. Aviz is very integral to the growth of the Champagne region because it has a university there and all the students are
Okay.
in Aviz. And it's a beautiful little region. Anyway, this is the palate cleanser to the next wine, which is going to be coming from Greece.
Ah.
We've not done Greece before.
We
on
haven't
this
done
show.
Greece
No,
before,
no.
have we?
We might have to have an interlude of more conversation because if I knock this back too quick, the show's over.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. I mean,
Oh, actually, I'll
It's
do
already
I'll do
affecting.
my LP, CD,
Oh,
and
yeah, go on.
VHS. VHS, I can remember, it was Dad's Army.
okay.
And you used to get the BBC and you used to put 3 episodes on each VHS.
Yes.
An hour and a half you used to get.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like Dad's Army, one of these series of Dad's Army. CD was All That She Wants by Ace of Base.
Yes.
Yeah, that was the first CD.
Yeah.
And LP would have been...
Was that an album you bought or a
No,
single?
that was a CD single.
See, I never bought a CD
From
single.
Woolworths? Did you get it from Woolworths?
No,
From
that
the-
would have been from Our Music in Paynton.
Price.
Our
no,
Price.
that was, yeah, sorry,
Our
Our
Price.
Price in
Yeah.
Paynton.
Yeah.
In
Paynton?
Paynton.
Is that where
in
you're from?
Devon. No, I come from East London, but
That's what I
did,
thought.
we did live in Paynton,
Okay.
Preston. In between Paynton and Torquay is Preston. We used to live in Preston.
Okay.
And then I went to college in Torquay.
I used to love Our Price Records. I used to spend a lot of time in there.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's amazing
Classic.
back
Yeah.
in the day. But I used to live in Preston, so in between Paynton and Torquay. But I met my wife in Iceland.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was working next door in Boots.
Not in the Blue Lagoon.
That's the thing.
You weren't in the Blue
Wow.
Lagoon, were you?
Did you have a small world moment then?
No, she used to work at Boots the Chemist. So we worked in Iceland as a student.
Right.
That's right.
Oh, do you mean Iceland?
There we go. It's
Okay,
boring. It's boring.
Sorry. Do you mean Iceland, the shop?
Yes. As a
I'm
student,
going
I don't know.
Iceland.
You went all the way to Iceland.
I know.
I'm going to
Right,
Iceland, the
okay.
country.
Doesn't it sound good?
Have you
I
been
met
to
my wife
Iceland?
in Iceland. No, never been. No. I probably need to now.
Because
that
when
I've
I
said
lived
that.
in Scotland, right, and I used to have to go to America quite a lot to see my other kids, you would fly Iceland Air out of Glasgow,
Iceland Air?
and they would stop over in Iceland.
He wasn't concerned about his carbon footprint, though, was he?
No,
Back
like,
then,
well, I hope
he was
not.
okay.
I hope not.
Otherwise, you'd be slowing the
But
plane
you stop at a
down.
place called Keflavik, and I was
Right.
also very impressed with Iceland because
I've never been.
we
to
had
Iceland.
we had our own little kids at the time as well, and you know what they do at Iceland Airport, Keflavik Airport. You come off. You would like this if you've got kids. They've got pushchairs that you can just put the kid in. So, like, if you've had to take a pushchair on the plane, you don't have to like get it out of the overhead locker or ask them
Probably
to get it out.
a nice little touch.
And you just
isn't it?
use it while you're there, and then you leave it at the gate. It's great. And then you get to go to the Blue Lagoon, which is this outdoor spa place. No matter how cold it is, it's like steaming
That looks
hot,
amazing.
which is
sounds
which
amazing.
is fantastic. Yeah. And then you get back on the plane, and it's only from there to New York is only about 4 hours. So it really breaks up the journey. Lovely.
Yeah.
But the weirdest thing about Iceland is no trees.
Oh.
Falkland.
Why no trees?
Because it's volcanic.
Oh, so
and
they
they won't grow.
survive.
It's
So,
volcanic.
well, no, it's just because it's kind of all lava. So there's
Yeah.
no sort of soil.
So it's quite
not the right-
rock as
it's
opposed to.
literally like, yeah.
Because obviously in Etna, Sicily, they grow grapes.
They
there
do, but there's not
because
many.
it's-
There's no trees up there either.
Oh,
if
right.
you go to the top of Etna, there's no
Is it
trees.
because the roots can't get?
No, it's just
down
because it's
to-
all burned.
Burnt,
It's
okay,
all
burnt.
literally burned to the ground. You know.
My only link to Iceland is that it spoiled my wedding
Why did it spoil your wedding?
because I was due to get married in April 2010,
Oh, is this the gas cloud?
and then the
Oh, that. Yeah, I remember.
happened.
Yeah. Was it
So
the unpronounceable volcano.
yes, yeah. And so
Wow.
I had to completely because we were getting married in
2010. Wow.
America,
Yeah.
so I had to completely reschedule my entire wedding.
Shocking.
Yeah, so that was my only link to Iceland.
And why were you getting married in
Iceland
America?
Because, well, it's a very long
Is
story.
it?
I should probably not get into right now because you'd be bored. My husband is American.
But is your
though.
husband American?
He is
Yeah,
American,
okay.
yeah.
Well, that's all you had to say.
And how
That's
did you
a-
meet?
That's all you had to say.
Not in Iceland.
Funnily enough, we actually met on social media. having
After all that.
After all that.
Yeah, after all that.
That's interesting
But
conversation.
not-
How did you meet on
But
social media?
not on, but it
On-
was on
on
Facebook.
Twitter? On
It was
Facebook?
on Facebook. He just started...
You liked one of your
Stalking.
posts?
He started flirting with me and pretending that he'd met, because he lived locally, and he was like, didn't I see you in this bar? And I'm like, oh, please, no.
And you liked his
didn't.
charisma or something like
I
that?
just
you
thought, no,
liked?
you didn't, you little chancer. But I just, yeah. But I went along. I thought, oh, let's see where this goes. And yeah, ended up
That's
ended
nice.
up getting married.
And you're still together?
And we're
Which is
still.
a
In
lovely
fact,
story.
our wedding anniversary is on the flaming 6th of May.
Is it? Excellent.
So I'm not
Well,
actually.
is he coming?
No, well, no, he's got
Well,
to
you
work.
can renew
so-
your vows on stage,
Yeah.
maybe.
That is.
That is funny.
We've spent many a wedding anniversary not in the same place, so it's not. It's
I think
nothing
wedding
new to
anniversaries
us.
are overrated, to be honest. He had his
Yeah.
25th wedding anniversary
Yeah, on the
just the other
31st.
day.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I just gave her a bottle of champagne, so she was fine with that.
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not
One
when the
that you
guy's
like,
in the
though.
champagne business. He literally just went downstairs and
Yeah.
I'd still be
gave
happy
her one
with
from
that.
the
Yeah.
bloody
It's fine.
cellar. You know,
Yeah.
shocking that.
Yeah.
I don't like big fussy, all of that kind of stuff.
No.
I'm not into that, and that's why I was really happy to get married abroad because the only guests were my parents. And I didn't have a wedding cake. We just had we had a
Yeah.
brilliant. We went to Las Vegas.
agree.
Yeah.
Got married, had a great time. Our wedding entertainment was Cirque du Soleil,
Right.
and we just had there was no pressure.
Right.
I wasn't bridezilla. I didn't really care about all the little things that a lot of brides care about, and we just had a great day.
Bridesmaids and
Yeah.
something old, something new, something borrowed, something
Yeah.
blue. Did
Did
you
a
have
bit.
all
I
this?
did all of that. I did all of that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is great. He bought Joe, his wife, a chainsaw and a rake for the garden.
Brilliant.
Is that your French property?
Brilliant.
That's your French property, I'd guess. Yeah.
That is brilliant.
Do we have the,
She's great though, by the way.
The,
If
the
you ever,
photos
well,
of
you will meet, I'm
us
sure, at some
being
point.
young or not?
Oh,
I did. Yes. Okay. So
Maybe. I don't know. Sorry, Pooch.
no. You carry on chatting, and I'll find it.
So we're going to get to the end of it. What we've done here is a little bit of a tone down on palate, something old. So in the cellar, if you've got an old champagne, that's what it's going to be like. No bubbles and more umami style.
Yeah.
Then we're going to go over to Greece, but we are going to go to sweeter style. Just
Sweeter,
so we know.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So we got Greece.
We don't
here.
mind that.
I can do that.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
That's all good
Yeah.
with me.
It's £11.25 from Waitrose and Partners. Waitrose, I know. Waitrose and Partners. Sorry.
You could probably nick it from Waitrose now, and they would. They
Yeah,
just
don't
let
care.
we
you.
did,
Yeah,
actually,
exactly.
yeah,
You don't even have to buy
case.
it.
We nicked a
Obviously, we're not
case.
encouraging that sort of behaviour.
It's kind of east of Athens, so the island just off of Turkey, isn't it? So Samos region.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know the Greek islands as well as I probably should.
No, I think I went there
I've been
once on holiday.
to Lindos and Rhodes. I've been to Kos.
I went somewhere for a holiday. I can't
Somewhere.
remember. Yeah.
I don't know.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
I think
What's those islands?
one of the
Somewhere.
party islands, wherever it was.
Oh, right.
I've been to Ibiza lots of times, and I can't.
Yeah, see,
remember.
I've never done all that because my formative years when I was in my 20s, I was in New York. So I went to live in New York when I was 23
That's
and I
not too
lived there
bad
till I was
for party
32.
times.
So I never did that whole kind of European, let's go party.
I
you
went
know.
to Ibiza when I was 6, and
Well, you started early.
That's
The
quite
only
posh.
thing-
You
that.
started early.
And you know what? That was the first live gig I ever went to. Do you know who we saw in Ibiza?
Who'd you see?
Boney M.
Oh, Boney M. That's
Wow.
good.
Boney
Well,
M.
yeah.
That was the first band I ever saw, and I was
Classic.
Actually, I think it was probably 7.
Rah,
But live?
Rasmussen.
Yeah,
Not a
Live,
tribute
they
band.
were- no.
Oh wow.
Boney
Good.
M. Yeah.
You can't knock that, can you?
I don't have one of Jen because that was a confusion, but I've got one of
Mike?
Mike here.
Oh, yeah.
Have a look on the screen.
Oh, yeah, this is my...
Oh, this is when you were younger.
yeah.
That's
Is that a video? Oh, yeah. Could you
You
send
should,
me
be
the
able,
video?
you should be able to find my wedding picture, actually, if you look for it.
I couldn't get that to work.
Oh, really?
Yeah, personally, no.
Okay, and I've got Chris's one here, which is a cute little.
I was about 19 now, I think.
Oh,
19 months.
I used to have a... you know, it was one of those...
cute! Look at that little squish.
Is that
yes.
you?
Yes,
Look at
it
that
is. Yes,
little
yes,
squish.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it was in the days of like my
Thank you,
jacket was
Pooch.
from Oxfam, and you'd have those little collars, the tiny little collars, and you used to have like a leather tie, and it was all a bit the jam kind of mob
Excellent.
type stuff. And I had this little badge, which was a big red, it was a red badge, and it was tiny writing on it. And people would be on the tube, and they'd sort of go like that, and it said "piss off."
Oh,
So as soon as they got like that, and they were like,
Brilliant.
and they'll go.
Oh,
as long as you didn't, as long as
Yeah.
you didn't have the Jim will fix it badge, you'd be fine.
I never know.
You'd be safe.
No. Although I
you still
once
got your
worked with
champagne
a
in
woman who
no, this is.
I once worked
new.
with a woman newsreader who had been on Jim's lap, who had gone
Oh,
to get Jim will fix it.
Wow.
We drove past him when I was little.
Did
and
you?
In
We
Scotland?
waved at him from.
Was he wearing his big chain and all that?
He was
wearing his kilt.
jogging and he was wearing his really creepy short shorts.
Oh.
And he was I remember it really well because me and my sister went. It's Jim will fix it.
As
it's
children,
Jim
you
will-"
would
'cause
do, of course
back
you
in the
would do. Yeah,
day,
it's
genuinely for a
Yeah,
very
because you
long
wouldn't
time.
have known, would you?
No,
I actually thought his name was Jimmel.
Jimmel.
That's a true story. I was
But as a
like,
child, you would do. Yeah, I
it's
get
Jim
it.
will fix it. So yeah, genuinely thought his name was Jimmel. Waved at him, and I distinctly remember my mum turning to my dad and saying, "I do not like that man. I don't like that man."
Really? Interesting.
She went, "He's a
What
creep."
Women
and I
have a sort
don't
of
like him."
intuition, don't they? about
Yeah,
this
my
stuff?
dad was like, "Oh,"
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
but we were like, "But it's
But he was,
Jim will
he was a
fix
massive
it."
celebrity back then. He was
Yeah,
a massive
oh, yeah,
celebrity.
well, it was in the
Keys to
80s.
Buckingham Palace.
Well, you know,
keys to
people
all
ask all the
hospitals,
time,
NHS.
why did we, and I was in Fleet Street, you know, in the 80s and 90s, and people say, you know, why did you not write stories? And the reason we didn't was because we would get these stories from time to time, and the people giving them to us were always what you might call kind of unreliable witnesses. They'd be,
Yeah.
you know, relatively young women or slightly disturbed women, and as soon as you went anywhere near Savile, he would have Carter Ruck or one of these big law firms
You'd be
Yeah.
scared.
who would
All
warn, no,
over.
they just warn you off. It wasn't that we were scared, but we would have a view, and the legal department would have a view. If you're going to go for this, you know, balls and all, and you're going
You've got to have.
you
real
better have
strong-
it. And
Something
is that
ironclad.
really the witness you've got? Is that all you've got? And it wasn't worth the trouble. So that's why it didn't happen. And
Do
it
you-
wasn't a conspiracy. It wasn't like, you know,
Okay,
we
but
didn't.
what about what do you think about Jill Dando? Is that a really serious question to ask here? Jill Dando's
No,
murder.
it's a perfectly good question to
Sorry.
ask. I think she was killed by a Serbian assassin.
Why
Yeah.
Serbian?
Because the
She was
Serbs,
sniffing around them,
she
wasn't
was
she?
sniffing around the Serbian war criminals who
Yeah.
were starting to come to Britain, who were running the guns and drugs out of
Okay,
the Bosnian
interesting.
War.
So it was a.
I think it was a hit. Yeah.
It was a hit,
was
but
a
not like
hit.
just a what's it?
It wasn't just a random. It wasn't a random.
or somebody that was infatuated with her or whatever
No,
it was. No,
no, I think
but
it was
nothing to
Serbian.
do with Jimmy Savile
No,
and going to
nothing
release.
to do
You don't
with
think
she
so,
was
no?
about to blow the whistle on.
No, not at all. No, it was definitely
That's interesting.
a Serbian hit,
Yeah.
in my view.
Serbian.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that factor.
It was done so slickly,
Yeah.
wasn't it? And
I remember being in the office, and I was working at the Mirror, and we had, crime, because in those days you had proper crime correspondents. You'd get a tip from the cops, which they don't get anymore. But in those days you'd get a call from the cops going, something's going down, you better get yourself to Chiswick or wherever it was,
Yeah.
And all they would then tell, and they wouldn't tell the editor, who was Piers Morgan, because editors famously don't have any judgment, they're just idiots, right? So if you want, if you want to keep your sources, you don't give anything away.
yeah.
No.
You just go, and I knew the crime guy, and he's like, something going down. I'm like, what? He's like, I don't know who it is, but I think it's somebody big, a TV star's been just shot dead in the head outside her house. I'm just going there now. So forget about what you're working on. This is going to be the front, 10 pages of the paper. And so it was.
I think one question I had, and they say like, ask it to a senior journalist, is sometimes you get journalists saying, well, we know who it is, but we can't say, or we know this is happening, but we actually can't say. What are they trying to say when they say that? They say, look, well, we've seen it, but we actually can't relay the information, but there is something sinister happening. Why are they saying this to the camera? Because most people get frustrated. Well, just tell us, Epstein or all the Trump, the election and all these kind of things.
Well, there'll be two reasons why. One, because they can't substantiate it, and so the legal department will say, if
It's
you
not
report
enough.
that as a fact,
You're
but you
liable.
don't have any evidence to prove it, then, we could be in a really bad place if it turns out that you
I
can't prove it,
understand that,
right?
yeah.
So, for example, if I came out and said, we've got this tip from the Metropolitan Police that Chris Walkie is about to be arrested for rape,
Yeah.
right? But we don't know whether you've committed rape,
Yeah.
or we don't know
You
if you're
can't
about to be arrested.
put
You
it out.
can't say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and if somebody says, "Oh, but a man has been arrested fitting his description," still not good enough legally.
Right.
That's not. You
So
can't do
it's,
it.
you get advice to say.
Yeah,
But then some
But
people.
for example, here's one for you. When the Queen died, we were given a heads up before it was announced.
like
so-
Liz Truss was when she was told
Yeah.
it's going to happen.
So, but also major news outlets were also given a heads up because the palace knew that there was obviously a massive interest in her health, and people were already
absolutely,
asking questions if she was okay. They'd seen Liz Truss had got to see her. Remember, everybody looked at her hand, and she had a
she was
bruise on
really
her hand.
poorly, yeah.
She didn't look well, and so her death was announced, I think, at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We were told around about midday that she died. But
Who announced
Okay.
the death?
Who?
funnily enough,
Is it not Hugh?
on
Not
TV,
Hugh.
funnily enough, it was me and Vanessa Feltz.
Wow.
Because I was told.
Was it really?
Because what happened
That's-
was, I was at Talk and I'd finished my show at 1 o'clock, by which time, unknown to me, the senior management had been told that this had happened. And I was told, can you hang around? We think the Queen's not well. And everybody saw the notes being passed around inside Parliament. It started to build, people started to ask questions, and by the time we got to sort of 3 o'clock, it became clear that there was an announcement that was kind of imminent.
Due. Yeah.
And I was told to hang around, and of course, in my inimitable way, my version of hanging around was going to the bar across the street.
Mike, you do surprise me.
I know. And so by the time it actually was announced, I'd had quite a few gin and tonics. And I kept coming back upstairs to see, I came back upstairs, and literally as I was walking into the floor, the 17th floor, I don't know if you've never been, I think, up to Talk, have you? As I was walking into the 17th floor, I could hear the speakers saying, and it's just been announced that the Queen has died. And my boss was literally there as I walked around the corner. He's like, just get into the studio now.
Just get on.
Just get on.
Yeah.
And Vanessa Feltz was announcing it,
Goodness.
and she was doing a drive time show. And so I sat down, and she came straight to me, and we talked, and I burst into tears. Partly
It's a
because
big
it was
thing,
quite
isn't
a
it?
big thing,
It's
but
an
also
emotional thing.
Yeah.
Blimey, she
also
was
because I
there.
had 5 gin and tonics, so I was very overcome with
Is
emotion.
is that viewable somewhere?
I would
Is that-
imagine, yeah.
That'd be
Yeah.
interesting
The
to
great
see.
thing about Vanessa Feltz is that she
Yeah.
then gave an interview and has done several interviews since,
Yeah.
in which she said that she broke the news to the world on her own.
That's
course,
some
of
kind of
course, Vanessa.
on
Well,
your
no,
CV.
but what I'm saying is she
that's
never
amazing.
acknowledged the
Yeah,
fact
yeah.
that we actually did
Yeah,
it
yeah.
We
together.
did it
Yeah.
together.
She doesn't
She's
never
got
give.
to
I never get a
distance.
mention.
We've got to distance.
No, this was even before anything happened.
God. Oh wow.
Oh no, she's just
That's back.
No,
She's gotta
but
have the
that's
limelight
TV.
then.
No, that's TV.
That's
Oh, of
showbiz,
course,
darling.
you know,
That's showbiz.
I'm sorry, darling. I was in the chair. You were just a guest, and so you don't really matter. And it doesn't matter. I don't care.
It's on my CV. It's on my LinkedIn profile. Anyway, something like that.
From Hugh Edwards, though, didn't they?
I think so. Yeah, didn't they?
I mean,
Yeah.
can you
Yeah.
imagine the scene, right? Hugh Edwards
He was on James Bond
putting
film. He was in
himself
the James
up to
Bond
his
film
full,
as well.
God,
you
I
know,
bet he was so excited, wasn't
you
he?
know.
Can
No,
you
look,
imagine?
no,
Under
look
the
you.
table. Yeah.
Look you.
No, look you. The Queen has died.
Look you.
Excuse me a moment. I'm just going to take a quick picture of my ass before. And you know, I'm sending this.
I've got that, Mike.
The
Thanks.
Queen has died after the longest reign in the history of. Sorry. Another one. All right. This one's for my friend in Swindon, who's asked for one. Oh, here's another one.
But
Here we go.
Pembrokeshire.
Yeah. So this is what he was doing, though.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no. It's not. It's not out of the.
What is this? What?
It's not out of the question that while he was announcing the death of the Queen, he was sending pictures of his arse.
I know.
It's shocking.
And
isn't
he's
it?
completely and utterly got away with it. He's been paid off.
They were going to bring him back on TV, weren't they? Something.
Well, he had that guy operating on his behalf who
yeah.
luckily was so useless at it that it actually made it worse because he wanted to tell his side of the story. What do you mean your side of the
Your
story?
side, I don't want to see it. We've seen enough of
We've
his
seen,
side.
yeah, the
Thank you very
backside of
much.
the story.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't want to see any more of that.
Yeah.
He's a cheeky
Put it
chappy,
away.
isn't
Just put it away.
he? He's cheeky.
But we're still
dear.
paying his bloody pension.
I know it's disgusting. It's but it is. It's so BBC, isn't
There's
it?
so many things.
What is this, by the way? Oh, there it is.
Oh God!
Shit.
All right, I'm gonna have to drink
No.
the rest. Hang on.
I've never seen that
I
before.
saw that
I need
picture,
another-
right?
I'm
I
gonna-
saw that picture.
I need to chug now
I'm
after
gonna
that.
do a
Good God.
Marilyn.
Look, Jane, look at the screen. He's coming towards you.
He's coming towards
I
you. Do you
saw
want
that
some more?
picture. I saw that picture for the first time.
Do you want some more?
And do you know what I thought? Do
Come on, Jane, move.
you know what I
Fill
thought?
her up for God's sake.
Do you know what I
Oh.
thought? I thought, what sort of a maniac? I mean, it's
I'm
not
not
even.
pouring that, I'll pour
It's
it
not
on
even
you.
a great picture, right?
What are you doing with your life if you get to that
No, but also,
stage? I'm
why do you
sorry,
think
mate.
anyone? I'm sorry, I don't.
But
Maybe
who
I
wants
don't.
to see his
Maybe I don't
crack?
understand the gay world, right? But I don't get that. That is not an attractive picture to me.
Yeah, but look
No.
at
I would
it's,
also take my trousers
It wouldn't
off.
entice me at
Around your
all.
ankle.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what's
But is that
Hang
what
on,
it-
did
is
he
that-
put the
is-
emoji on it, or did
That's
somebody
not
else?
AI.
Someone else did.
That's not AI, is it? Tell me it's
No.
not. That's fact.
That's a real
What are
picture.
you doing with your life?
Oh,
Put
God.
some effort into it. Put a couple of daffodils.
Take
Yeah.
your trousers off.
There he is.
He's just left them round
In
his
other-
ankles. For God, what a lazy
In
pervert!
other
What are you
news,
getting from that?
That's the laziest perving I have
United-
ever seen. Can't even be
Yeah.
asked
Do
to
the
take
pose,
them
do the
fully
pose.
off.
You've got a picture there, do his pose.
Oh yeah, you got to do the post.
in other news,
Lean left a bit.
in other
Lean,
news,
lean some way. Lean
the
left.
United Nations has ruled that the Rwandan war was in fact a sex crime. Sorry, no, not a sex crime. It
Look,
was.
he's going for Jen
There
now.
he is. Yeah.
Hello. Fucking hell, don't.
Oh my God! It's just horrendous. But the reason I knew about it, right, was because we knew. Again,
It's
one of those
funny.
stories.
Cheers.
Because the TV business is not that big in that
Everyone
sense.
knows
Right?
everyone.
People know, or at least you can kind of mingle with people. And we had a couple of young guys that worked at Talk TV, who had worked at the BBC, and they didn't tell me this, but they told one of my colleagues. I won't name him, but his initials begin with KOS, and so you can probably guess who he is.
Yeah.
He said, he keeps getting stalked by Hugh Edwards, and he said, I've seen pictures of Hugh Edwards' ass because he's shown them to me. He sends him pictures.
Oh God!
Unsolicited, if you like. And he used to hang around outside Broadcasting House when this guy was working,
Yeah.
and he would come out and he'd go, "You want to go for a drink?"
No,
And he'd
no,
be,
I don't.
No, I don't. Are you sure? And he'd
Well,
wait. He'd do it like every day.
Send a screenshot of his bank account would be more attractive.
Yeah.
Then, oh, hey, wait a minute, there's
Yeah.
something to
Yeah,
do here.
I know. It's all very
But anyway,
odd.
you're talking about Talk TV there.
Yeah.
I watch other channels on YouTube, and I noticed that they've literally gone downhill on their finances since they got rid of somebody.
Well, listen, shit happens,
You got
as
some
they
stats
say.
there.
I don't want to. I didn't want to state anything, but
No, listen,
There's
I have
150
nothing.
million, I think.
I have nothing bad to say about them because it's not my way. It's not what I do.
We love them all.
Yeah,
We love them all.
We do.
love
And
them all.
We
I've
watch
got
them
some
all.
good friends there, and I
I
had a
did
great
watch
time
something
there.
last night.
So I keep it very. what's the word? Antiseptic, if you like.
Because you're going to keep
Very
bumping into them
very
at parties.
TCP.
Well, it's not even. Yeah, it's not even that. It's just that
Very
I
TCP.
don't bear a grudge. What's the point? I don't.
There's no point.
I'm loving what I'm doing now.
You're doing
Pooch and
really
I-
well as you are.
Pooch and I are building this incredible, channel that we're about to build. Which you guys have been a part of.
I'm still disappointed that you had Liz Trust here on Wednesday. I'd like her to come and join us.
Yes.
all
Well,
for,
Maybe
we'll,
you could bring her in for some wine.
Well, we'll get her to do. Maybe
but
that will be the real.
Don't be
That will
good.
be the real test.
Oh,
won't it?
imagine the
Can you
stories
imagine?
you would get out of Liz once
Oh.
she'd had a couple of drinks.
I would love that.
Well, listen,
Amazing.
Pooch, I think we should mark that down and say, let's get Liz in because she loves
Get-
us.
get Liz
I'd
in.
love that.
Get her in for Plonk
She
of the
should
Week.
have been here for longer. But
Yeah.
anyway, here on your show, but also in a position. But that's another by the
We
by.
could call it Lizzie Loose Lips, and she could just.
Can you do her voice, or can you get
That's
that?
not a good. No, you've already
Very good.
You've already set the hairs running on that one.
the hair?
Lizzie,
we have
Lizzie
had
loose
Brazilian.
lips. I mean,
But we've had
Please,
a Brazilian.
please.
maybe we
wine.
get Quasi Quase on
not
at the same time.
Oh,
No,
God.
that would be a bad idea.
But we have had a Brazilian, so she'll
We
be
have.
fine.
Yeah. Have you had a
No,
Brazilian?
we have had a Brazilian.
Have you had a Brazilian?
Yeah. So
No.
there we go.
No.
So we're all clean.
Now,
This is the Greek stuff,
Move
right?
it on quick.
This is the
Show me the
yeah.
show me the bottle.
There we go.
Here
I
we
can't
go.
do accents. What was your
Samos.
Inspector Clouseau? Did you say?
Oh, I don't
Was
know.
it
That
Peter
was,
Sellers Inspector Clouseau? Or
we were
something like that?
we were talking about Keir Starmer and his performance.
He is an
This is nice,
Inspector
actually.
Clouseau.
Being
It's
like
lovely.
Inspector Rick, what were we saying for him?
Yeah, no, he's like
It's like
Yeah.
He is hopeless, isn't he? I mean, and for
Absolutely
someone who,
But he's not
for
funny.
example,
Inspector
But he's
Clouseau
getting a
was funny.
result. He's getting results
This is
by
really good.
accident.
We just
I think
try
that
a
was
bit
more.
why,
Yes.
why we compared him to Inspector
Yes.
Clouseau, because by accident
because he's not in control
getting
of
a win.
events. He's not in control of events. But I mean, as someone
Yeah.
who is a specialist in voices,
Oh God!
his voice is about as awful
It's
as
awful.
I've ever heard
No, no.
anybody's
It's
voice.
It'd be,
So
is he on?
robotic.
Does Spitting Image still take place?
They do. They do a live
Because
show.
you can imagine
now.
he's going to.
Well, you know, Lewis McLeod is coming to the
He
Chef
does
of
a good-
Champagne.
Donald introduced me to
Yeah,
Lewis,
he does the spinning image stuff now.
But he's Trump is amazing.
His Trump
he's
is
got
amazing.
he's got all the body
His
language.
Farage is amazing as well.
I haven't seen the Farage.
His Farage is really good. Boris is very good as well. He hadn't. Last time I saw him, he didn't do a Starmer. But I'm sure he must be doing one now because why
Must
wouldn't
be.
you? You know?
Yeah,
Can you be
you'd
that
have
boring
to.
though? He would just be so
But this is the
lacklustre.
problem with Labour. They are very dull. That's why I loved Angela Rayner so much, because she's not dull.
No.
You might not like her, you might not like her politics, but she is not boring.
No.
She is not dull, and there was so much scope for what we could do with her. I mean, Rick is the one who puts all the backgrounds together of Angela,
Right.
and he was the one who brought in the tenants.
Right.
You know, the super tenants that are always like
Right.
appearing behind her.
Did you do the James O'Brien as well?
yeah, Jim.
That's
yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, and he brought in the James O'Brien photo, like that we always put in the background.
I think I tell you what, when people got a different point of view, and maybe it's a bit left leaning, which is not a problem. You very seldomly find characters that can come on and have a nice chat, engaging chat, learn from each other. Like here, the wine factor. You don't like 3 of the wines. We're having a good banter back and forth.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
It's not the issue. We have constructive talk and
Well,
chat.
famously,
but we don't
most
get
left
that
wingers,
from-
and that's why you're right about Angela Rayner, who has
Yeah,
a
I
sense
agree.
of humour.
Yeah.
She'd probably love what you do, right? She'd probably go, actually, that's quite funny. Whereas most of them,
If she's
have
clever,
got
she
no,
would do that.
But
She
most
would
of
give
them have
us-
got no sense of humour.
I think she's
No.
doing the right thing by completely
sense of humour is the
ignoring
word I was
me.
looking
Yeah.
She's ignoring me. She's not making a response one way
No
or
sense
another.
of humour is the word I was looking for. That
She
is
blocked
correct.
me on Twitter,
Yeah.
you know.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because
I don't know if she's blocked me. But I don't engage with her on Twitter. I don't engage with anybody I parody on
I mean,
Twitter.
I used to be quite brutal on Twitter to people, and so I don't really blame her. I remember she appeared on Question Time one night, several years ago, before she was in government. And I just tweeted out, you know, is this the thickest person who's ever been on Question Time? At Angela Rayner, and she blocked me.
Is that a compliment?
I don't think it was meant as a compliment. No. I didn't care that she blocked me.
No.
I mean, most of them have. Most of them, like,
Again, it's a mistake to.
What you said earlier, I agree.
People who are
you're
really
reacting.
vicious and threatening, I will block.
If
People who
it's-
say
yeah.
some
I
awful
block
bad
really,
stuff.
really abusive people. I block.
Yeah, but generally, if people like come at me for my appearance or come at me for what I do and stuff, mute.
Yeah.
So I don't know any more
Yeah.
about it, and I think that's what politicians should just
Yeah.
just mute, and
Yeah.
then they'll never know
Right.
what anyone's
Well,
saying.
I'm pretty sure Lammy's muted me because Lammy never blocked me, and I used to tweet him quite a lot, but he never responded.
Yeah.
So I imagine he's probably muted me. You know.
Probably the better, as you say, it's the better thing to do. Actually.
It's a more powerful
I
thing
agree,
to ignore.
You don't have to agree with somebody.
Than to react, because to block is to react. But yeah, I have blocked people. I certainly have. But
Sometimes you do need to because they're just so horrible.
yeah,
But I don't mind, as I say, I don't mind
yeah.
constructive feedback and criticism. That's fine. But when it comes to being vulgar or not nice, I think that's you taking
the
a step
vulgar
beyond.
stuff. You got to. You
I
do.
think
have
you
to
do, and
shut
you
it
don't
down.
want to deal with that factor. So
Yeah.
interesting. Well, anyway,
What is this?
This
I
is.
like it.
Oh, you like it?
I do.
Am I back in?
Yes, you're back in.
Oh.
We're good.
Boom.
We're good.
There we go. So it was the Greek one, and the Greek one was £11.25 from.
Oh, it's a Muscat.
Waitrose
Wait,
and partners.
I like this actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 15%. It is a sweet wine, obviously, as we
It's
we can
a
taste.
Muscat,
lovely.
right?
I'm going to go nick that later.
Well,
They
you
won't
need to
challenge
speak
me. It's all
to
good. They
everybody
won't
here,
challenge.
but that's that wine here. It's a lovely ending, very mellow, very sweet.
Yeah.
It is a
ending.
lovely
Yeah,
ending.
happy ending.
It's a very happy ending.
It's very dessert winey.
Oliver's just going to say about
didn't get
next.
that.
What we just one
Oh God, there's
thing.
more. Is there more?
No, there isn't actually.
God.
So slow
Good,
down.
'cause I don't think I can take
But
much more.
Some of the viewers asked us
Oh,
to let
hello.
them know about next week's wine at the end of the show.
Oh, good
Ah,
idea.
Yeah?
okay.
Is that okay, Pooch?
Yeah, give that to Mike.
That is a good
Yeah.
idea.
So
is
here-
this next week?
That's
Yeah,
next week's
we've got
Vivacello,
£4
fruity sparkling wine.
£4.69 from Lidl, and we'll be tasting this next week on Mike's Plonk of the Week.
Who is?
Next week. I don't know what date that is, sorry.
What's it called?
It's
Vivacello.
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 £4.69 Lidl, and we'll be tasting that live on the show, everybody.
It's from Spain. So is it
Yeah.
Carver?
It's not Carver. No, it's
No?
not. No, it's not Carver. And they do
Alternatively,
state that it's
well,
not
the first
Carver.
address I saw was Surbiton, which was never going to be
I
a
don't
good
think
thing.
it's from Surbiton.
And nothing good comes out of
I don't
Surbiton.
think, but it'd be brilliant for Surbiton if it was.
But it's imported into GB by this company
Yeah.
in Surbiton. Yeah, okay.
But we are going to be
So it's
tasting
from
that
Spain.
next week, everybody.
Autovia del Sur. No, nice.
Are
Get
you
your
doing
bottle
this? Are you doing this
ready.
live at the
Thank
live
you.
show?
We are, yeah.
Oh, brilliant!
But at the end, right?
What could possibly go wrong?
Because we're not allowed to
Marilyn
get.
Horse could go.
Yeah, Marilyn Horse. Marilyn
Well,
Horse
I
will be
could
literally
go wrong.
crawling
You
off the
keep- if you
stage.
keep-
I would
serving
like
up
to
this
start it as early as possible, but I've been given my orders, so
No,
late as
we've
possible.
already worked out that
Thanks,
the
Oliver.
best
Well done.
and most sensible course of action is to do it at the end of the show. So, last sort of 20 minutes of the show, we'll get everybody out, glass of champagne.
Can
glass
we
of
be
bubbly.
drinking beforehand, me and Oliver?
Of course, if you
Do
want
what you
to.
like,
Yeah.
darling. Do what you like.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But there is, I mean, we're not kidding. We've done these things before, and I haven't always been as well disciplined, perhaps, as I should be. And
No,
if
really?
Yeah.
What? Shocking.
And if you turn up at 7 o'clock to launch the show, absolutely shit-faced, it's not, it's not great. I mean, it can be fun, but
It
it's,
can be fun,
People
but-
have paid a lot of money to come.
You need to speak to the
Might not be
producer.
professional.
And so it's not that professional. So I've been banned from drinking
Yeah.
until maybe the second half of the show. You might let me have one. You know.
We'll see.
You see?
Don't speak to the boss.
Because he knows, right? He knows what
I
I'm
do
like.
live shows. I know you're on top.
And he says I'm a lot better when I'm not
You are.
pissed, basically. So that's the rule.
You're safer. I think the word is safer.
Yes. Well, I made the
Sharper,
comparison this
yeah,
week about
yeah.
Trump and just the fact that he's now portraying himself as Jesus Christ and he's calling
Jesus Christ.
open the fucking
superstar.
straits, you crazy bastards, because he hasn't got. It's like me
Something's
without a
going-
producer.
No, there's
Something's
literally
going
like,
wrong there.
So every time he goes, I'm going to do this now, and I'll do this with Pooch, and I'll go, what do you think of this? And he's like, I wouldn't do
No.
that. And like, okay then, and he's probably right. But Trump doesn't have a producer. He's like a mad, sort of talk show host.
Something's
Yeah.
going odd. It's all
With no
bizarre.
producer.
It's bizarre. Yes, it's correct.
I
yeah.
mean, I still think eventually he'll probably get what he wants.
Yes,
Because
of
he's
course he
probably
will.
he's
5
this
steps
maverick
ahead.
character.
Yeah, I agree.
But,
But it's bizarre to watch. It's like
he's basically
Peter,
fired everyone that disagrees with him. So everyone's just all going like
including
this.
Candice and Tucker.
Well, they never. Thankfully, they never worked for him.
But you know what I mean.
I mean, Kelvin
Yeah.
Mackenzie was in the other day telling a very funny story about his time with Rupert Murdoch when he was
on.
the editor of The Sun. And he said Murdoch would sort of sweep in the old days as he did, and everybody would kind of genuflect and they'd go into the meeting room and he would start telling them some tale or other and what he wanted the paper to look like, and they'd all be nodding like this. And he said the trouble is that once he'd been talking for about 20 minutes, he'd already decided actually he didn't like that idea, he wanted to do something else. So they'd all start kind of shaking their heads. And he said we all developed this kind of head movement, which kind of was up, down, sideways.
Neither one thing nor
So it was
another.
neither one thing.
Like
You
the
weren't
dogs in
nodding,
the back of the
you
car,
weren't shaking
those
your head,
nodding
you were just
things.
kind of going along with whatever it was he was saying. And that's kind of what a lot of these yes men types are like. And I can imagine sitting in Trump. I heard a story the other day where he's apparently ordered all of his people, including Marco Rubio and Hegseth and all of the kind of senior members of his cabinet, they all have to wear the same shoes.
Oh, for goodness.
Right? So they're all wearing...
Not red socks, just shoes.
No, not red socks, but they all have to wear the same brand of shoe. And if they're not wearing them, he makes fun of them. He goes, "Why are you not wearing the shoes I told you to wear?"
That sounds like a suspect club.
I don't care. I mean, in any work situation, and Pooch will probably say the same, this is why we work for ourselves, because in the end, you can work for an organisation. Once they start telling you stuff like that, you just go, "Do you know, I'm not doing it."
At that point, it's crazy.
It's almost like a test, isn't it?
Pay respect to where you come in. If you
respect
turn up
your
in
job, right? Fine.
Bikini or speedos,
right.
Oh, just a minute. Hey, wait a minute, what's happening?
But if if you come in and they go, "Look, you can't have a moustache," you go, "Sorry."
Excuse me. No,
that's Kim Jong-un territory, isn't it?
Totally.
That's getting ridiculous. This is why I can't work for anybody.
No.
I have to be my own
And
boss.
I think if you're that kind of person, that's it. You just can't ever get one work for a company.
I'm too. I've been. I would just be sacked constantly because I wouldn't be able to follow. You know, you
Other
must
people's
look
rules.
like this. You must speak like this. I'm a very polite person. I'm pretty good with, you know, I'm socially pretty good. But if people start pushing me, then no. If you back me into a corner, then I'll just rebel. I can't help it.
Rightly so. So you should.
Right.
I agree with you.
Well, this was great, wasn't it?
Well, thank you very much. I know
Very
the first few I was a bit concerned that I was.
We've ended on a winner as well.
Has he won you over then?
That is amazing. The
You've
last
won
wine was
me
this
over
one
with
here.
a very desserty wine.
With a bit of Greek dessert
I like
wine.
this.
The
Who
Greek,
knew?
well, the Greek is that our favourite wine of everything here today?
I actually really like that. Yeah.
It's my favourite, and it's dangerous as well because it.
We have another question of the week. We had a question of the week.
There was the LPCD.
The
Oh, was that it?
LPC,
Okay.
It was that factor.
Oh, fine.
Is the Greek wine the plonk of the week?
Oh,
It's a good question.
For me, it is.
I think the finest wine we had was that Welsh one.
Yeah,
The Pembrokeshire.
Not the little champagne, Mike. You like that?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I
The
did
little
like that as well.
champagne, the little
Well, that's
champagne.
good then,
was
because if you've got you like this one, and that's the one of the week, and you like this one as well.
Yeah.
We must have done something.
Those
right
are
with
three.
The wine.
The three I liked. Yeah.
And for
definitely.
you, Intel Lady, tell us.
I like. Well, obviously, I like this one, darling. I mean, this is a winner.
Wonderful.
But I do like the little champagne as well. That was really nice.
Did I make a comeback? Did I recover?
Not really.
You recovered well.
Thank you,
I would consider splitting the bill.
Edit that. Can you edit that out, please?
Yeah.
You consider splitting the bill.
Brilliant.
That's a good.
We didn't
answer.
even get to have an drunk Emily Maitlis moment, did we?
Oh, let's do Emily Maitlis.
Because
Come on now.
So, Mike, as an award-winning journalist, you're obviously not an award-winning journalist. I am. I did. Let's just be honest for a moment. I did a incredible job of really holding Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's feet to the fire. Let's be real.
Let's just admit it. Yeah.
Just for a moment. What can you possibly say? Who have you interviewed in your time that is even the same level as myself and Andrew Mountbatten Windsor? Who can you visit? I mean, I'm just going to interrupt you because that's what I do. Let me just interrupt for a moment because my voice is much more important than yours. I just feel as though no matter how you're going to answer this question, I'm going to be right and you're going to be wrong. Go for it. Go on.
Well,
Surprise
to be honest, I'm honoured to be in your company because you're absolutely right. I have never been able to reach the heights that you've attained in your journalistic career.
Okay.
However, I'm a bit worried about the way you look now. Because
What?
you've certainly
I've gone pale. I know I didn't get the fake tan on in
before.
time.
You've seen better days, let's put it that way. And, you know...
This is exactly the sort of misogyny that I avoid. This is why I hang out with Soaps and Lewis, because they wouldn't dare stoop as low as you just did. And this is why I just don't have time. I don't have time for it. In fact, I've got a fake tan appointment, so I'm going to go to that. But what I will say is this. I will always be the winner when it comes to journalism. You know it, I know it, end of discussion.
Brilliant. Superb. Fantastic. Listen, that was fantastic. Intel Lady, what a great and a great guest to have on Plonk of the Week. Very nice to see you. Chris, as ever, well
Thank
done.
you, sir.
Oliver, thank you very much indeed for opening all the bottles. Thank you to Pooch for his input and the insertion of Hugh Edwards' arse for the first time into the show.
Traumatised.
Yeah. Sorry about that. We should have probably had a trigger warning for that.
That has to be created.
Meanwhile, and also to Charlotte, thank you for setting everything up. And also, of course, we'll be back same time next week. What are we doing next week? We're doing the Italian, the Spanish.
The Spanish, we're doing the Spanish, and
What's
we're
the
going to
theme?
find something very interesting. We haven't got it yet, but we'll
All right.
find it.
Okay.
I'll send
They're going
it
to find
Pooch
something interesting.
and
That'll be a
Charlotte.
first. And we'll see. Have a great weekend. If we don't see you before, we'll see you 7 o'clock Monday morning. Happy weekend.
Cheers.